we basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Hey, I see you two bickering on the world stage. They're trading missiles and memes, turning Twitter into a cage. One's got oil, one's got gas, one's got a cyber army.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Narrative. We are live on YouTube. We are live on X. We are live on Rumble. And we are live on Twitch tonight for those of you that don't have the ability to watch anything else but Twitch. Welcome in. How's everybody doing? Tonight we have with us so professional. So tonight we have with us, we have Frank Snow. He is our, what we found out, not our residential millennial anymore. He is actually
what am I, a boomer now? What is
Gen Z.
How far
you're
back
Gen
do we
Z. You're our zillennial.
Oh,
You've upgraded. I think. Is that an upgrade?
I don't think so.
the last in the alphabet here. Right? I don't know.
Then we have our wonderful new co-host, Lucky. And now we've got a good show for you. We've got a good show. Good show. If anybody remember...
We're not going to talk about what millennia he's in?
we're all Gen Xers, man.
Okay, all right. Jeez.
We are the last generation. We are the best generation.
100%.
And you can't get any better.
The generation that doesn't have any feelings.
Exactly. No feelings, no filter. And hold on, let me just
Running low on beer. Got one more beer in the fridge. Got two on the desk. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I can afford to pay and get myself beer.
Yes, subscribe over. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Boost up that account. I know we got two. I think one of them was Lucky, but we got one extra one throughout the week.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit Rumble. Rumble is The Narrative on Rumble. It is Rebel Lawson Official on X, and it is The Underground. Spelled kind of funky, but it'll pull up. Anyways, welcome to the show. We are live. We are ready. We are primed. At least I'm primed.
I'm lubed up, ready to go.
I got me some.
That's way more information than I needed.
We are drinking. I am drinking apple brandy tonight. I am sipping. I don't have a sifter, so you're just gonna see me boozing it up like a normal alcoholic.
Yeah, at this point, it's been a long day, so I'm drinking the caffeine
Oh, yeah.
caffeine in the evening.
Except for that'll probably be the last sip I take for the rest of the night because I do still have to go to work tomorrow.
Hey, Lucky, what was the first thing I said that was completely off the wall to you? It was during our meeting. It tickled my balls.
Oh.
That was the
My balls.
first introduction.
Yeah,
Introduction to snow.
We're going to get along just fine.
Look at my balls. If you guys are new here, if you guys are showing up for the very first time, we welcome you. But you have to remember, we do not have a filter. So it's a reason why we have a 3-minute countdown on YouTube. That way we can do whatever we want after the 3 minutes. And
yeah, I've already forgot about it.
Yeah.
My bad.
So we are good. If you're on Twitch, make sure you show us some love on the Twitch channel. We appreciate you. Rumble the same way. Rumble is a growing platform. Slowly, but it's getting there. I mean, it's always been a conservative one, but we love you guys here. YouTube is the one that I would like. So if you guys would really gracious with YouTube and boost us on YouTube, because that's the one that is like growing the fastest.
Send it to your cousins, aunts, uncles, your dogs, your cats, your nephews that aren't old enough to watch it. Don't do that. Don't do that. I've done that, made that mistake before. My uncle got involved. It wasn't good. All right, so just that's
Shit.
a joke, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I don't
I forgot to
tell my family
introduce myself. I introduced everybody else, but so
I don't have a filter. Something happened to Rebel. I couldn't hear him.
shit. Uh-oh.
mic check 1 2 3.
I think it's me.
You might have to refresh. Sometimes the browsers are kind of janky.
No, I was getting a phone call.
Oh. Oh,
Apple.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. Matter of fact, I need to tell somebody that I got that phone call, so I'll be right back.
Okay. So we do have a call in line. We'll pull out the number a little bit later if you guys are interested in any of the shit we're talking about. But tonight's kind of interesting conversation. I know the title is kind of weird because it says doubt is their product, and we all fell for it. The reason why is because after a few drinks and a few laughs and everything else, we deep dived into some videos, into some things like that, and some information, and we found out that we are all and have been living in a psyops for a very fucking long time.
Mm-hmm.
So tonight's story is going to be based on psyops, and we'll be introducing a new topic towards the end of the show that, or a new segment towards the end of the show that will go over the stuff we talked about tonight and find out if it was a psyops. But first off, I do have one thing to say. So this popped up today. So you all know. So like I said, some of the main topics we're going to be talking about tonight is the Epstein files, of course.
Extremely loud in my ear holes.
Am I? How about now?
You're good now.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I've got to remember that I've got to turn my volume down for some reason. My audio was like shit before. Now it's like too loud. So I don't.
I don't know what happened, but the quality is going up, ladies and gentlemen. I promise.
So tonight's topics, the main topics we're going to be talking about tonight are the Epstein file dump, all the craziness going behind that. We're going to be talking about, Lucky's going to share some things, talk about the Thomas Crook, which if y'all don't know was the dude that shot Trump and ended up not being around anymore. And then Mr. Frank is going to kick us off tonight here in a little bit with why we are a psyop. But I don't know if you guys have any like rants or anything like that, but I do have some rants I found out today, and I'll fire off with mine first, and then you guys can either kick in with some things that you find out or whatever. But so this little gym, oh, I gotta find my mouse again. Hold on. My mouse gets lost quite a bit. So this little gym came up today. So there was 8 senators. Let me get to my shit. Like I said, we are professional. Trust me. We are professional. So there was a coordinated attack, or not a coordinated attack, but there was a coordinated video put out. Called, the video was actually titled "Don't Give Up the Ship," and basically it directly tells military members you can refuse illegal orders, and you must refuse illegal orders. And timing is kind of weird because the 2 pieces of legislation that's on the books right now is No Troops on Our Streets Act, which is, was introduced on November 13th. Basically, that was to block the National Guard deployment in American cities. And then you had the Crow's War Power Continuing Resolution to block Trump's strike on drug traffic in the Caribbean. This all stems down from, Trump deploying National Guard troops to LA, Portland, Chicago, and all that stuff, to protect the ICE agents, because those blue states are not, their law enforcement is ordered not to protect the ICE agents. And it's pretty sad that you have a law enforcement sector that is being controlled by, which it is. Everything's controlled by the mayor of the cities, but you have these Democratic mayors that are basically putting all these people, all these law enforcement, because ICE is law enforcement, into harm's way by not allowing local law enforcement to protect them. So now you have the ability to cause way too much chaos. But
quite significantly, basically what you did was open up the floodgates.
yeah, because like I said, now
And in the thought process that these guys are more trained than your fucking police officers, first off. Right?
Well,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
some of them are, because they laxed on the I do agree they laxed on some of the training to get people in there right now, but that was just
Okay,
a
but that
start.
was just currently, right?
Yeah, but
Just in
the
the past
actual
year.
training for an ICE
6
officer, I
months,
think,
yeah.
is like 16 weeks. So
Okay, how long is the training for a police officer? Not just
16 weeks, but they go
Just
through
so-
they go different trials. So police officers are trained on
it's
police.
good background information. Is why I'm asking this.
So yeah, so police officer trained are basically policing. They're trained on handling civilian type incidents like domestic violence and stuff like that, robberies. They're not. I mean, yes, most of the major metropolitan police departments have started using like tactical. Started learning tactical for like riots and stuff like that. New York City is actually one of the top law enforcement agencies in the world, because public law enforcement agencies in the world, because of the fact of the matter is because they do have so many inner departments in the law enforcement that, I mean, they even have a division that is tied to like the government agencies that they do like overseas fucking ops and shit like that. And counterterrorism and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things since 9/11 that local law enforcements have been, bigger metropolitans have been trained heavily on. But when it comes to like immigration status, they really don't have, local law enforcement doesn't have the ability to enforce those laws to a certain extent. They don't, because immigration is a federal incident. I mean, it's a misdemeanor if you come here, but it becomes a crime, and that's what's happening with a lot of it. Is if you come into this country illegally through the port of entry, that means you have documentation that you came through the port of entry. Those are not technically illegal immigrants. Those are people that have come through and done the process, and therefore can be deported if you fuck up and do something like rob a store or rape a person or something like that. But those kind of criminal offenses can get your temporary status revoked and sent back. But if you come through a non-port of entry, which what happened during the Biden administration, where people were being flown in from like Guatemala or from like fucking Venezuela and shit like that, those are all illegal points of entry. And then when you cross a barrier that's not guarded by the United States, that is an illegal point of entry. Therefore, it becomes a crime, because now you've entered the United States illegally through an illegal point of entry. So those are the ones that are being, I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard, but this shit is not new. People seem to, that's what I've been trying to say. Is like everything. This immigration raids are not new. Obama is still immigration leader. I mean,
the deporter in chief.
Yeah.
Can I say it?
Say it.
It's a psyop. Instead of big banks now, it's gonna be like, that's a psyop.
Yeah. And if everybody would deep dive into things that you actually did and learn, and what we've witnessed over the years, and actually sit back and use these topics that these kind of like things we're gonna go over tonight to kind of like make sure that you understand what a psyops is. I don't know, from our understanding, I mean, I have some type of a credibility. I do have a psychology degree in forensic psychology, which is, based on law enforcement and everything else. So I'm not using that, but these are just our points of view. These are not, don't take these as like everything else. Do your own research and get your own qualifications.
I have no credibility other than kind of cute, dude. That's it.
He is kind of cute.
Just kidding.
Oh, then you're screwed.
Yeah, well, that's your fault for being here, ladies and gentlemen.
He's made a whole 10 cents on his Only Toes fans, ladies and gentlemen.
Only Toads fans. Yes.
But
I
so,
lost more
anyways,
golf balls than I have making money doing this.
So anyways, it kind of leads up to this whole thing here. This is the reason why so they can't like fight the Epstein. What they're trying to do is they're trying to deflect you with this right now. They're trying to deflect you away from that the Democrats have been, and we'll get into that a little bit later, are being tied to the Epstein scandal more than the Republicans are now. And so now they're trying to deflect you. They're trying to deflect you away from the Epstein files. And they're trying to go back to this whole thing about immigration and the illegal thing. So this video was put out called "Don't Give Up the Ship." It was created by let me see. Wait a minute. I think about like 8. It was created by 8 senators that were all a part of some type of military service or CIA service or something like that. They all had some type of military backing. So let's listen to what they have to say.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak.
All right, so keep that in mind. If you guys are listening and tuning in, keep that in mind. I'm former Army. I'm former CIA. I'm former intelligence. That should be like the red flag signal. It's just like, okay, now they're trying to make it credible when it's really not credible. But
Directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day.
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
Against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army.
Our Navy.
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
Our Constitution.
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
so don't give up the ship, ladies and gentlemen. Don't give up the ship. Sorry about my dogs. Oh, thank you. Don't give up the ships. Oh, my wife brought me dinner. Look at that. She
Yeah,
does.
my
love
wife's
me.
about to bring me dinner here in a little bit.
She does love me, even though she says she doesn't. But so basically, Democratic lawmakers. These are Democrats, by the way. Remember, these are Democrats, and they are urging military to refuse illegal orders. So basically, that is true. So I mean, under Article 90, it clearly states that service members are only obligated to obey lawful orders and have both the right and duty to refuse unlawful orders. So by military law, they do have. Oh shit! I lost all. Oh, there it is. Hold on. They do by law, military law. They do have. The hell. Okay, I thought I got kicked off of Twitch. It went to Tim the Tatman stream, and I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, according to Article 90 of the Military Justice, they clearly states that service members are only obligated to obey the lawful orders and both have the right and duty to refuse unlawful orders. So what they're basically trying to say, what these Democratic senators and all the Democrats that are fighting, the National Guard being deployed into all these cities, is that it's unconstitutional. They're doing unlawful orders. But the National Guard is created to protect the home front, to protect the states, to protect inside the United States border. So I don't know. It's kind of on this thing, but these type of videos that these Democrats put out, and I said this last stream, it's just like I've been trying to like stay heavily centrist, but it's hard to do when you got shit like this happening. These Democrats, I will never follow. I will never vote. I will never do anything. I will never give them praise or anything, because this is not the Democratic Party of 15 years ago.
No.
This is a whole new Democratic Party. That's the reason why so many of the youth vote, and they don't understand that. They think they're going to win. But see, Democrats, the history of Democrats are like chameleons. They adhere to whatever's going on. They change their spots. They change they change their colors to keep up with the voter base. So you're going to see a lot of these starting to back the Democratic Socialist Party, because of the fact of the matter, so many youth voters are being attracted by the Socialist Democratic Party without actually understanding what full-fledged socialism means, off the 30-second dopamine hits they get on TikTok. But so back to this, I mean, the Article 90 of the Unified Code of Military Justice allows for legal disobedience of unlawful orders for both enlisted personnel and officers. So military officers cannot order subordinates to engage in legal or criminal activity, nor can they order actions to violate any article of the USMJ. But according to the Department of Defense, armed forces personnel are obligated to follow only lawful orders. So this is where the whole conversation comes down. So is what Trump is doing with the National Guard is, deploying them to these cities. That's what they're trying to fight, even though the federal judges, even though there was a Supreme Court ruling said federal judges had no authority over the executive branch, which they still try to do it. They have to have a civil suit basically filed against the government in order for the federal judge's orders to even be enforced. So is the question, I guess, to everybody that's listening or whatever. So what's the thoughts? Do you think that what Trump's doing with sending National Guard into these cities, would that be classified as an unlawful order?
So if the National Guard is at the disposal of the president and they are there to protect the home front, and especially law enforcement that are there carrying out lawful orders, right? Because, I mean, they're there enforcing immigration law.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see any reason why these orders are unlawful. And I guess my question would be, see, the problem with these stupid ass videos is they don't tell you what about it is unlawful.
Yeah, that's
and,
me confused.
And the 30-second dopamine hit, they're like, oh yeah, it's unlawful.
Illegal.
Oh my God. These people have all this credibility, and they've already. Oh my gosh, I'm talking to ex-CIA agents and a captain of the United States Navy and they're trying to use this false credibility to promote this idea, right, that is really just based in hatred for Trump.
And turns out one of those guys was a dog about a week ago. That's what I heard. The guy in the video. Oh, okay. Well, there was a guy that was in the military that when he retired, he came out and said that he was a closeted dog.
Oh yeah, he identified as a dog and put the dog mask on and all that shit. Look, I don't give a shit about your sexual fetishes.
But that's what I thought. Never mind. Sorry.
Right. So and the other part about this is that they're literally telling military service members to disobey orders from the commander in chief to protect illegal aliens from deportation and being subject to the enforcement of immigration law.
When they could have just done what everybody else did and just came through the border.
Well, no, they probably couldn't. They'd still be waiting for it, and that's the whole point. But my problem is that they picked a side, and the side is of people who are here illegally.
Mm.
And if I was in one of their constituents, right? Because I know a lot of the mayor from Chicago. A lot of his constituents are pissed off because why? Because they have an influx of illegal aliens, and now jobs are scarce. They're giving subsidies, public money to these illegal aliens when you have homelessness and poverty in Chicago. They picked a side. Like, I guess that I don't understand why it is not just a huge fucking neon sign that says they hate you. They love illegal aliens more than they love you.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. And we have my family members that have bought into this psyop. See what I did there?
You're going to be hearing that word a lot tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you are. But they've bought into this psyop of the fact that it's about.
Sorry, it didn't register in my brain. I'm sorry.
But they bought into the fact that it's not about them being illegal. It's about they need help. They're a person. There's no such thing as an illegal person. Okay, but they did something that's illegal, so that makes them a criminal.
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh no, he fucked up.
I hit the wrong button.
I was like, so
professional podcaster here.
Right. So I just don't understand why it's not just blatantly obvious for these people to say they hate you.
Yeah.
And they love these illegal aliens more than you. And the goal is to make them all voters and have them all vote Democrat.
Which they did do.
Right.
So I mean, and you have a continuing. So the Democrats are defending this video. Representative Houlihan.
Yeah.
Defended
don't know what it is.
Yeah, I can't spell half of these freaker because they're not American. Defended the video in a statement asserting, "Let me be absolutely clear: there is nothing more patriotic, nothing more stabilizing, and nothing more true to the rule of law than reminding our military of their constitutional obligations and reassuring them that if they are given an unlawful order, they do not have to carry it out." Which, I mean, it's true. There is truth in that.
It reminds
Article
me
90
of like
says
Fahrenheit
yes.
451.
But again,
right.
They don't ever say what about it is illegal.
Yeah, but they're playing in that in the minds of young folk and people that have
They're
what I
basically
bring it
saying,
back
"Hey,
to is like
you young
they're
people
trying
and
to teach people.
Yeah,
Like they're trying to teach people like okay, whenever I was in school, we read Fahrenheit 451, right? Oh, they burned our books. Then the military got involved. And so, like, they're threatening the idea of that currently happening about getting rid of folks that are going against the grain. Like, these illegals, they're getting rid of the people that are doing good. You know, they're helping the economy. Oh, they're not taking your jobs. Absolutely not. You know how you're depending on us to provide for your food? Guess what? It's not their fault. It's that white man up there preaching to you. That's the bad guy. Like it's like you said, it's a psyop. It's built for people to be. I gotta watch what I say here, but it's built for the unintellectual,
the dumb people.
Yeah.
I've had a few shots in me. I don't care. It's built. They're banking on the people not being educated that are understanding this. I'm sorry, the Democrats think you're stupid. That's plain
Exactly.
and simple.
And guess what? That's why they lost.
No, they know you're stupid.
Well,
They know you're stupid because they know, like just what you said, Rebel, that they're not going to do their research. They're not going to.
No.
It's all about feelings. And guess what? Facts don't care about your feelings.
You know who I think runs the Democratic Party?
Obama?
A woman.
Clinton?
Hillary?
A woman.
Oh.
Hillary?
Oh, just a woman in general?
Just a woman.
Oh, no, come on. No, we're getting
No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say it's all about a desired outcome, right?
Yeah.
And the means justifies the ends, right? So if they can get 55% of the country to be crying about these people, right? And they can tug on the heartstrings and they can associate these people with themselves.
They had me trapped in that thought process right there. So you're right. I really do believe that.
Right? They don't give a shit about the feelings. They don't really care about these people.
No.
These illegals are the means to an end. And the narrative that I love, the narrative podcast, right?
Yep.
The narrative
that's what we are.
that they're pushing is all about the feelings, and they don't care. They don't care about these people. They don't give a shit if they starve to death.
No.
As long as you vote Democrat, they don't care.
You're not an individual. You are a number on their poll list.
Mao Zedong.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, they don't. I mean, it's just like I said.
On that feelings for more women voters and more voters like that won't be able to do their research and stuff like that. Do you think that's part of it?
I don't think the fact that they don't do their research, but yes, there has been the women voter turnout has been higher this year. It's a reason why we're seeing women governors being elected more.
See, this is why I say this, and I don't mean to be, if it comes off as sexist, but the women in my life have predominantly been more Democrat, right? More left leaning. So that's the reason why I said the things I did. It's not so much about being sexist in the manner of, okay, well, they're just feelings. They just run on feeling. But the people that have surrounded me at a younger age that were females tended to be more left leaning. So I got that thought process through them.
Those people in your life, those women are victims of the narrative that the Democrats are pushing.
Correct.
They know. They know. And by the way, why do you think they're trying to create beta males? Right? It's because now it's all about the feelings. And they're trying to get rid of toxic masculinity, which is not even a thing. There's toxic, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's toxic femininity too. But my point is that the women in your life, they have been socially engineered to be more in touch with their feelings because they know that that's predominantly how those people make decisions based on their feelings.
Yeah.
And I think it's one reason why we have never seen a woman president, not because of being sexist or anything else, is because we understand psychologically it's proven that women, just like you said, women do act on their feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we already know that it can be if anybody's been married or been in a relationship for a long period of time, already knows that those feelings can materialize out of nowhere. And like I said, the fact of the matter is, it's like, yes, this is what they're doing. They're using social media, they're using TikTok, X, and everything else because they know a high percentage of younger voters, the ones that don't do the research, and the ones that the influence. And this is another thing I was going to talk about too. Is just like the influence community. I'm trying to construct an article for the website, but the influence community. You got to understand, influencers. There's a difference between influencers and people like us and Tim Pool and Benny Johnson and everything else. Yes, technically the umbrella is they're influencers. Everybody's an influencer because you influence the opinions of others. But the fact of the matter is, influencers, what I'm talking about is what you see on X, like the ones that just fucking copy and paste posts, like the Brian and Ed Crescencenes. Those are just influencers. They're uneducated influencers. They have no business in the space of trying to tell people how to do things, because them themselves have a long history of being corrupt themselves. But the fact of the matter is, but if you don't research that, if you don't take the time, because of the 30-second dopamine hit, that's what I'm saying. It's so scary that the understanding that most people, most younger generations get their news from social media. That's scary, because of the fact of the matter is because most of these, about 60% of these influencers on social media have no fucking clue what they're talking about either. One, they're bought by these companies. They're bought by these political organizations. They're bought by PACs. They are fed scripts to read for $25, $30, or $50, depending, or a view count, what they get on their script. So if they get 100,000 views on their video, they might get, $1,000. But the fact of the matter is, influencers like these people that you see on TikTok and everything else that talk about it without actually having a honest conversation like we're having, without scripts in front of us. Yes, we run through descriptions of what we're talking about, but we're not scripted. And we're not paid by anybody. And it would cost $1 million a piece or more for us probably to be bought. Well, I would say that for myself, because I'm not going to be bought, but but no, that's what I'm saying. It's just like this kind of shit is like, like he said, it's all based on feelings. It's based on emotion. And
I would need to be paid enough to not do this anymore.
But the fact that there needs to be more people out there that are talking their true feelings, talking their true their researched opinions. And like I said, everybody has a right to an opinion. I'm not saying against that. But in my world, if you're going to come at me with something, you better have a researched opinion. Because my opinions and my stuff are researched, and I will come back and counter argue and throw you under the bus as fast as I possibly can, and back over you.
Facts don't give a shit about your feelings.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have a real hard time with that video, especially coming from the perspective of having served in the military, and I think it is sowing a seed of, this younger generation already is pretty insubordinate, right? And I think to a certain degree, I'm okay with challenging authority or questioning authority, right? But in this instance, unless you could tell me what about it is illegal and unlawful order, by the way, you're subject to the article of the UCMJ.
Yep.
And the other thing is I think they're the Democrat, especially that video, they're so dumb because they don't realize that they're talking to people that by and large support the current administration.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me go ahead and just go out here and yell at the fence.
Yeah.
Right? And see if I can get it to move. That's just dumb.
But see, that's the thing is, though, so when they say unlawful orders, as long as they are not turning into militias and going out into the streets with ICE and literally arresting people, from the videos that you've seen, even the ones that they posted on both sides, they're just standing there. They are making sure that, if you attack an ICE officer, just like they're out there at Portland right now in Chicago in front of the ICE facility, they are securing a federal building. Under Title 10, it is legal to have the National Guard secure a federal building.
Now, how much of this is directed at the ICE agents themselves, saying that what they're doing is unlawful?
Well, no,
not the National Guard.
No, that video. Yes, it could be because that's what they're probably going to take from it. But the video from what I understood, is that because the ICE agents, I mean, they're not military. I don't think they fall under the USMJ or USCMJ.
Yeah, they're not subject to the UCMJ. That's
just military personnel. So they are not military personnel. They are federal law enforcement, which has to abide by federal law enforcement and state and regulations and all that. But yeah, so I mean, yes, I think that's what kind of maybe they were pointing at, and I can see what you're talking about now is it's like, okay, so they're trying to make all these young people and all these people that, are ignorant and don't understand how shit works, that they think it's towards the ICE agents, when that video has nothing to do with ICE agents. The USMJ does have nothing to do with ICE agents. And like I said, and the service people, the military, the National Guard that are there at those facilities are doing their lawful order. They have been ordered to protect that building because it is a federal building housed with federal officers and federal employees. So therefore, that becomes like a sovereign little piece of land compared to whatever city and state it's in. So that becomes a United States government secured facility. I mean, just look at Area 51, all those dumbasses that try to break Area 51, that was a secured government facility. Right. They couldn't get into it. You try to walk up to NORAD in Colorado Springs and try to see how far you get. Walk up to any military installation that has a fence around it and says property of the United States government and see how far you get. It's the same thing.
They literally have signs in the middle of the desert hiding fucking holes in the ground that says property of the United States government. Like,
I had a buddy of mine that tried to go to NORAD.
Drones. I could see that shit.
I had a buddy of mine that went to NORAD one time with one of his other friends, didn't think anything about it. He just drove up. He wanted to see it. And he was met, I think like almost a quarter of a mile before the entrance by armed military personnel sitting there asking him what they were doing there.
Probably had barrels in his face.
Yeah. Told him that they had so many seconds to turn around and leave or they were going to be arrested. But so that's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's because the USMJ, and the thing is though, it's just like, and I don't think any service member, I don't think the service member in general are gonna take this. They're just gonna fucking fluff it off because they understand what the United States military justice or the Code of Military Justice represents and what it means. Because if they do try to do this, and they disobey, even though it is a lawful order because they're federalized under Title 10. So it is a federal, they're holding federal laws.
Nice.
But so let's just look.
So ICE agents are federal employees. They're part of the Department of Homeland Security. But they are not subject to the UCMJ.
But
and if they are in the act of enforcing immigration law, again, dum-dums, what about it is illegal?
It's because the Democrats said, because social media said it was.
Because Trump is mean. Oh, mean old Trump.
The orange man, he doesn't understand. He doesn't know. Fucking idiots. Just like Hegseth said, Trump decision or
honestly,
Trump,
how many
TDS stage 4?
Yeah.
So this is what it says. So this is the Uniform Code of Military Justice disobeying orders. So Article 90 so you get Article 90 is willfully disobeying superior commissioned officers, which are anybody at higher rank than you are. Article 90 covers the most serious forms of disobedience, willfully disobeying a lawful command from a superior commissioned officer. During wartime, get this, if we are at war, if we literally declared war like in 1942, the maximum penalty for an Article 9 violation, death penalty.
Death, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
or other punishments as court-martial may direct. During peacetime, which we are in peacetime right now, up to 10 years confinement, dishonorably discharged from military service, you forfeit all of your money, your
all pay
pension,
benefits,
your GI Bill, your VA assistance, everything gone.
I may or may not have been charged with several articles of the UCMJ during my time in the Navy. Several.
That's for
never that
podcast.
one. Hey, never that one. Never 90. But there was a bunch of 134s in there.
So now, and the thing is, though, it's just like, yes, they can defy an order, but they will be arrested by the military police and they will be put into confinement until their military tribunal court finds them whether or not they're guilty or not. And trust me, most of these people that are in the judge advocates general's positions, they are military justice. That's just what I'm saying. The Uniform Code of Military Justice is so much harder and stricter than what y'all are, the listening audience has been exposed to over the years. If you've been arrested for drunk driving or whatever, I would rather get arrested for that and spend time in a fucking county pokey than go to a fucking military jail. So, like I said, the thing is, so now you have another one. So now you can get an Article 92, which is a failure to obey orders or regulations. Article 92 addresses 3 distinct types of offenses with lesser penalties. So violating or fail to obey lawful orders, failure to obey other lawful orders, dereliction of duty, which most of these would probably get if they did say that I'm not going to do it. So Article 92 violations carry significant lighter penalties, typical up to 6 months confinement of hard labor. And trust me, military hard labor is nothing like prison.
No. By the way, the military, they can give you bread and water for 30 days. No, not 30 days. I think it's 3 days.
Yeah.
Bread and water.
You have no the right to all this shit when you've been charged and you're sitting in a federal jail. I mean, you still have your rights as a person, but there's other rights as a prisoner that you don't get that you would get in a civilian jail.
No. Like, for example, bread and water. In a civilian jail, they can't just give you bread and water. I know people that I served with that got bread and water.
Yeah. In the regular jail, you're required 3 nutritious meals comparable to what a school gets. So you're required by that, because I did work in a jail for a little over a year. So they are required to give you some type of nutritional meal 3 times a day. But yeah, so I mean, it's the fact of the matter is, it's like they understand this, because when you go through military training, plus trust me, I grew up in a military family, never served myself, but I did grow up in a military family, so I might as well have. These soldiers that go in and take the oath to defend the Constitution of the United States and everything else, they understand this. They are given this. They are instructed about these Uniform Code of Military Justice. That is part of their training. So the fact of the matter is that these idiots, I mean, they should know that too, because they all went through the same damn training. They understand the Uniform Military Code of Justice. But guess what? You all don't understand the Military Code of Justice. So they're using your ignorance that you don't understand, that they're lying to you, that, all this can happen. It's all fluff. It's all a distraction. It's a distraction from what we're going to be talking about here in a little bit, but it's all a distraction and a deflection.
By the way, I think a lot of times, I'm just going to say the left, but they throw around this term unconstitutional a lot. And
it's a trigger word.
So what about it is unconstitutional? Well, if it violates a Fourth Amendment.
My feelings were hurt.
Well, but there's the Constitution. I got my Constitution right here somewhere.
I took a Constitution this morning.
No, that's a constitutional.
Oh, my bad.
But the Constitution is very clear. If for example, this immigration raid, violates someone's a Fourth Amendment right, illegal search and seizure, then yes, it's unconstitutional. But if you're outside of a Home Depot and somebody starts to run and you chase them down and you put them in handcuffs, guess what? Not unconstitutional.
And it's not an arrest either. That cracks me up when people, oh, they're arresting people. It's not an arrest. There's a difference between a detention
Right.
and an arrest.
Right.
So when they're being, it's the reason why they're called detention facilities. They're not called arrest facilities. When you go into a detention facility, you are detained.
The only thing
not
you're scared of
arrest.
is alligators.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that it does say, I looked it up. It says the one thing about the immigration raids that could potentially be unconstitutional is illegal profiling. We can't use factors like race, accent, language, or the type of work someone does as the sole basis for stopping them.
And I think some of that has changed too. I think they lightened. I don't know if it ever went through, but
I have a perspective on that. I have been spoken to. One of you, both of you should know already, but someone close to me is in the BP agency. And that's one of the things he highly disagrees with specifically is the profiling. He said currently they have been spewing, and this is where I got involved, is, oh, they're going to Home Depots and just picking up all the Latinos. Okay. After the research I just did on everything else, what proof do we have that actually happens?
Yeah, because I mean, and also you can't believe all these videos that are being produced out there, because how do you know that's not a worked up?
I haven't even seen a video. That's why I'm saying.
Well, there was a video of a teacher in Chicago that supposedly got ripped out of her classroom in front of her students, but that's bullshit, because that's not how it happened. She got removed from the entrance of the building. Now she didn't live there. She did work there. She was employed by that school, but she didn't get ripped out of her. Didn't go into her classroom and handcuff her in front of her students. But that's the psyop.
She ran from a traffic stop,
right, into her place of business.
She eluded a traffic stop.
Yeah.
She did something illegal in front of one of the ICE officers, and they were attempting to pull him over because probable cause. You fuck up in front of an officer, you're going to get pulled over no matter who it is.
Right.
So they were pulling her over for probable cause, and then she, because of all the rants that you say, oh, don't pay attention to ICE, resist ICE, blah, blah, blah. Thanks, Democrats.
Yeah. How's that working out for you?
You're the one that caused them to chase her down, chase her into her schoolroom, and take her out of into the school building and take her from the lobby back out into handcuffs. You did that. Democrats did that. And that's one thing you all got to remember. They're playing on the idea that you don't understand laws and regulations and rules and everything else. They're playing on the idea that you are going to keep listening to TikTok, the 30 seconds to a minute dopamine hits. They are planning on this, and that's why, it's why we ended up with a socialist governor or a socialist mayor in New York City and a socialist governor in fucking Minneapolis. So that's what I'm saying. You can't take this shit. This is stupid. This is the propaganda system at work that is not supposed to be working in our country.
May I make a comment too, especially about this illegal alien shit that's going on? They know who's in the fucking country.
Oh yeah.
Every traffic stop, every camera, every light that you might see out there, especially in the southern border, has cameras. They are secretive cameras. Somebody I personally know literally sets them up on the premise that they are trying to track everybody down, not just based off of looks, but straight up based off of their background, whether or not they're tracked down to these gangs and the violence in southern part of the Americas. But they that's his job, intelligence gathering, right? So in order for them to do their job, they have cameras everywhere. There is a system. It's not a conspiracy theory. Everybody in the US is tracked. Sorry to tell you, breaking news. You're tracked, but based on priority. Is this what we're trying to track right now? This guy over here just buying beer online, that's not really that important to us. But the guy that just came over our border and got this facial recognition brought back to a gang in Venezuela, that's what we're tracking right now.
Yeah.
And it's being used. It's a thing.
Like I said, you've got to realize too, it's just like you got to understand the difference between detention and arrest. In normal civilian law, most areas you can be detained for 72 hours before an actual arrest happens. So that means you get locked up in a jail cell and forgot about for 3 whole days before you're allowed to make any phone calls, before you're allowed to they have to feed you, but I mean, you're just a ghost until they decide to book you into the system. Trust me, we had several drunks when I used to work for the county jail. We had several drunks that come in and they were pissed because they couldn't get their phone calls. It's like, well, you need to sober the fuck up so we can fingerprint you and book you. You come out here and you start being shitty, you're going back to the jail cell. And that's exactly what happened. Hell, we had one person the whole time I worked there that literally did sit in the jail cell for 3 days because they would not cooperate and let us book them in.
And that's the thing. Like, you're not technically a ghost. It's just if they need to find you, it's based on how much money they're willing to spend to find you.
True.
If you're not worth us finding you, they're not going to find you.
Yeah.
Hate to put it that way, but everything's got a price.
Oh, yeah.
But
all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is an ad break. So, as you know, we are all sponsored by for coffee. I don't have the ad in here, so I've got to do this manually. So you know what's worse than waking up? Waking up with weak coffee. Or coffee so strong it punches you in the face. But the Goldilocks, which I do have right here, and I did try some. It is actually pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. You get it in bags or you get it in K-cups. I like K-cups. But the Goldilocks, go fuck yourself. It's just fucking right. Medium roast perfection, bold enough to wake you up, smooth enough not to ruin your morning, and available in pods, ground coffee. Because mediocre mornings are for mediocre people. So go to fuckcoffee.shop. Use code TUG. What's the code? The code?
Tug.
And get you a little percentage off.
Just not while we're That's a little weird. No, my bad.
But yeah, so go to fuckyoucoffee.shop. That's FUCOFFEE.shop and get your for coffee. Get your oh wait a minute, I have one right here.
And before we get this show on,
That's not what I want.
Congrats, your last decision sucked. At least FU Coffee never disappoints.
For coffee. If this coffee offends you, wait till you hear our opinions. FU Coffee, it's not personal. You're just soft. Go to fucoffee.com and use code TUG at checkout. That's Tug. Now get the fuck out of here.
Now get the fuck out of here. But anyways, go to fuckcoffee.shop.
I might be able to get us another sponsor. I'm going to be honest. we might have to figure something out.
I think that's a perfect sponsor.
Oh no, I'm just thinking about something else. That
Okay.
one, wonderful.
Yeah.
We love
All right.
them. Great people.
Yeah.
We're gonna take actually. I'm gonna let Frank. So we're gonna jump into the main topic. He's gonna take the topic off for the evening,
And he's gonna go take a shit.
I'm gonna I'm gonna take a quick little break while they jump this off. And
okay. So let's talk about it. We've been bringing it up several times now. We have the old. Oh, see, now I'm getting flustered. What are we talking about today, guys?
Psyops.
Yeah, psyops. Pretty much all the main topic things that you see on the news is a psyop. Let's be honest, especially when it's mainstream media speaking about it. And this is what, and the reason why I think Trump got elected was that most of America realized it really quickly, and they weren't expecting it as the blue side, I'd call it. See, the reason why I get kind of caught up on the red and blue is I'm not big on categorizing people. I think pretty much any normal human being has their own opinions. And I like going back and forth, right? I personally don't believe that I'm super red or, my grandmama, love her to death, that she's super blue. There's uninformed and there's informed, and there's never just two sides to a story, right? There's outside perspectives. There's people that witnessed something. There's people with information that actually lived. The biggest thing with a psyop is that it doesn't matter. That it's planted evidence. And I have a great video that I'm going to be sharing here once Rebel gets back in his seat and wiped his butt. But we
hope.
yeah, we hope. Hey, it's his computer. I don't give a shit if he wiped his hands. Don't care. But a lot of the things that even ourselves as podcasters we get drawn into. I mean, the whole idea of politics specifically could be a psyop built around different stories, right?
So do you want to hear the definition of a psyop according to? So I watched that whole Sean Ryan show episode 258. 250. I watched the whole thing. I couldn't turn it off. 3 hours.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I brought it up. I didn't even watch all of it. Okay, you got to understand.
I got halfway through.
How long this
it is long. It is super long. So the definition, and I took notes.
Oh damn!
That's just one page. I was outside with 2 cigars, a pen, and a pad, watching on my patio. And so a psyop is narrative-driven control of perception with the aim of shaping someone's behavior. That's it. It's very simple, right? Narrative-driven control of perception, such as those dumbass Democrats, with the aim of shaping behavior. And if you think about it, Fox News is everything they put out on Fox News, psyop.
Mm-hmm.
They want to drive you to behavior. If you listen to that if you watch that podcast, he talks about how as you're scrolling through Instagram or whatever doom scroll media you use, you'll see 2 ads of things that make you mad, based on your algorithm.
Mhm.
Then you'll see one post of something that makes you happy. Oh, it's this little baby eagle landed on my lawn and blah, blah, blah. And I feel good. And the very next post will be an ad to get you to buy something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a psyop. Because ultimately, I don't believe, I agree with, I don't remember his name, but I agree with the gentleman that was on the podcast that social media in and of itself is not here to divide the country, right? It's to sell shit.
Yeah.
That's really what it is, right? So, but if they can lock into that formula and they can bring your emotions up and then they can bring them down, and then the next, and even if it goes up just a little, then boom, you're going to buy
What is his
something.
name? Chase Uber or something? Chase
something.
Chase
I don't
Hughes.
know.
Chase Hughes.
Oh
he
my
was
God.
the creator of something that we will discuss here shortly.
Right.
3-letter acronym, right?
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
is it acronym? That's probably the proper word, I think.
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know either. It's one of those, like, I never understood those big fancy words that people use.
It's
I didn't go to
probably
school for a reason.
It's probably
Anagram.
it's
no,
probably initialism, but either way.
3-letter something that stands for something else. But like I said, we'll discuss that later. Right now, I have a kind of a clip.
So
that I'd like
kind
to
of
go
keep, keep track. If you guys are listening, just keep track of what we're talking about because it's gonna be our ending.
Yep. So bear in mind, I'm not sure if this is 100% where I want to be on this clip, but just listen to it. Very informative. Let me know once you're ready.
Good.
Is it on the live preview?
What happened? Oh, you got to share it.
I've been sharing it. Yeah, it's right next to my face.
I don't see it.
Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. There we go. You can start it now.
All right.
The Gulf War wasn't the first time Hill and Knowlton weaponized public opinion for profit. New York City, winter of 1953. The executives of America's tobacco companies gathered at the Plaza Hotel. They had a problem. Their own scientists had confirmed that cigarettes cause cancer. The research was simple and clear, and the public was starting to ask questions. And if this information got out, the entire industry would collapse. We're talking billions of dollars, millions of jobs, all gone overnight. So they called in a specialist. John W. Hill, co-founder of Hill and Knowlton, the PR firm that would later orchestrate the lie that dragged us into the Gulf War. Hill understood that doubt was more powerful than truth. People wanted to smoke. They like smoking. But if it was dangerous, most people would stop. But if it might be dangerous, they'd keep smoking. So Hill and Knowlton worked their strategy. They formed the Tobacco Industry Research Committee, which sounds official and scientific, but it wasn't. The committee existed to create doubt, nothing else.
Ah, yes, doubt. The duct tape of corporate crime. Can't prove it's safe? Make sure nobody can prove it's dangerous either. It's a beautiful thing in a completely evil sort of way.
Hill and Knowlton funded studies designed to muddy the waters. They hired scientists who would testify that more research was needed. They paid for ads saying the health risks weren't proven. And they made sure that phrase was heard over and over. No proof. No proof. Journalists believed they had a responsibility to show both sides, so the media gave equal airtime to tobacco-funded researchers and actual cancer specialists. That made it seem like a fair debate, but it wasn't, because one side was lying. 16 years later, an internal memo from Brown and Williamson spelled out the strategy in one sentence.
Doubt is our product.
Doubt is our product.
Hence the title of this stream. Doubt is their product.
Yep. If they can create a doubt in something, they will sell more of it. The doubt of COVID, the doubt of wars occurring, this has gone on for many of years, probably since the creation of at least the U.S., if not further back.
Oh, way before that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Way before that. Because there's the formula, and I wish I would have written down the acronym. I didn't write it down, but it's the fate. It's the fate model, where oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't write it down. But basically, it's literally like there's a process, and he goes through it, and he said it doesn't take that long. It's very quick to generate a psyop in somebody's head.
Psychology, man. The brain is the most powerful weapon, but also can be the most manipulated.
Well, it also goes to the motives of the person doing it, right? So he said he's that Chase guy. He's hypnotized folks and gotten them to quit smoking.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy who was a psychologist.
Was he the one that sat there and said the reason why he got into it because a friend of his went to a doctor and they found out that the doctor was hypnotizing her and making her go outside the context of what she normally does, and then when she came to that her bra was misadjusted and everything else. Yeah.
Well, he said he got into hypnotizing folks because he said he thought it was cool. Which, I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he had the mystery of it, right? Like
how many times think about it, how many times have we been hypnotized because they use subliminal messaging in TV?
Sure.
And radio.
Video games, man.
The video games. Yeah.
So there's a psychologist that existed in the time of Sigmund Freud, and his name was Emile Coué. He's a French psychologist, and he wrote a book called, by the way, this is the 1930s, right? I guess it's true that if you want to keep a secret from somebody, put it in a book, right? And he wrote a book called oh my God, I have the book. Where's the book?
Why he's doing that? There's something, because I was kind of looking at this, so I asked why. What was the very first use of advertising and manipulation? Dates back around 3000 BCE. When merchants in Egypt created a papyrus advertisement with images and simple text designed to persuade buyers to purchase their goods or services.
That's crazy, dude.
So here's the book, if you can see it. You can't see it. Self-Mastery Through Conscious Autosuggestion. And what he does is he's healed people. Apparently he's healed them from life-threatening diseases through their belief in the fact that they could heal themselves through conscious autosuggestion, which is really, some people call it prayer, some people call it mantra, some people call it meditation, but actual instances where he healed people through them believing that they could heal themselves through conscious autosuggestion.
I think I heard about that in my psychology class that I took. It's the only class that I actually got an A in college. Ironically, because I didn't really pay that much attention, but it was still, I think I did hear about it, where repetitive messaging or speaking with people, and this is where I started believing in prayer a lot more too.
Constitutional crisis.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But that's where those big continue. You guys continue. I get stuck up on words and I hate it,
but that's really it, right? So there is a formula. This is in the 1930s, right? But like you were saying, this happened in ancient times where they realized that they could bend reality through believing that they could bend reality.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that podcast, the Chase dude, Sean, asked him, "Do you think this is all a simulation?" And he said, "Yes, I do. I think it's all a simulation."
No, we've all been brainwashed. Every single one of us.
Right.
We've been manipulated because, like I said, they found this technique before. I mean, the creation of anything we know of.
Now, who says? And this is what's crazy to think about. Who says even our past is real to us?
Like I said, how many times?
Who told us our past?
Yeah.
Right, because I have a hard time remembering shit. Like there's people that I went to school with, and I'm like, hey, so this person just friended me on Facebook. Who do I know this person? Like I got like 25 mutual friends,
telephone.
and they're all from my high school class. But I have to find out from somebody else. Hey, did I go? And by the way, I had 100 people in my high school class, so it's not like I had a huge class of people.
Well, the thing is, too, you got to realize too, by psychological standards, the human person can only have approximately 150 connections before they start losing. That they don't understand who these people are, like you said.
Mine is 6 people. I'm done for.
So, but that's just our what is ingrained in our. It's all our minds and our psyche can handle is 150 people. 150 or not 150 people, but 150 relationships.
Yeah, connections.
Yeah,
right?
connections.
And then they start to develop apathy, right? Their brain cannot care for that many people. So then that's why you see people bystander syndrome.
Yep.
Right, where they that girl that got stabbed on the subway, right,
Yep.
and nobody helped her. Well, you've taken someone who can only handle 150 connections, actual, connections where they care about someone, and you've put them into a city of 2, 3, 4 million people, and they just can't process it.
And COVID, the shutdowns had a lot to do with that too, because our connections became social influences,
right?
So therefore,
and virtual,
therefore,
and
reality
virtual,
of a real person and them witnessing that there. I mean, our brains got disconnected; they got rewired during those 2 years, or
not by accident.
The ones that were locked up were rewired,
right? Yeah, not by accident.
And that's my biggest question to you guys is, let's talk about this COVID thing, man. That one of the most mind-boggling psyops in our history, our livable history, in my opinion. I say my livable experience because
we've had several too.
I'm young, right? I didn't really have that. Well, I guess we had the Trump attempt, and now we got Charlie Kirk, and now we got COVID. Like, man, I live in hell. Actually, that's where I live.
That's a different psyop. So that's a distraction psyops.
But
in my opinion,
the amount of psyops that you can find just off a news story after news story after news story.
Well, just remember what is it? It's a narrative driven control of perception. And that's everywhere. It's everywhere. Because you have to keep going back to the definition, right? Because whether it's to sell some crazy bullshit teeth whitening toothpaste on TikTok, which I still have to ask my dentist if that's actually a thing. if it's actually true. But or whether it's
like, no, it actually just eats all your teeth.
Now they have the shit that grows teeth back,
Yeah, let me get on that.
Really,
I got a chipped tooth.
But my point is that it's narrative control of perception, right? So for someone who's more conservative, that perception has been driven by the echo chamber that I try not to live my life in, but it exists where now, that you've now could changed my perception of, and here's the key, right? The next thing he said was that it's more about identity than ideas, right? Because you go from, I told you I took some notes.
No, yeah.
You go from idea, you have an idea, and then that gets moved to an ideology, and then from the ideology, then you creates your identity. And once you have identity and rewiring how I see myself, that takes morality off the table.
Yeah.
That's
huge. That's a huge statement.
Bring that even into social media atmosphere.
I mean, look at that. Take that concept and look what happened during the Kamala Harris campaign. That was an identity. That was identity moved into ideology, moved into a whole new construct.
Rewiring how they see themselves.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because, in my opinion, I don't understand how anybody could ever vote for a Democrat. Like, I don't believe in any of the shit they say.
Well, it's like I said, Democrats.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I've always said that if actually I didn't say it, but if I've said it 3 times, so I'm going to own it. That if the pot people and the gun people would just get together, everybody would vote libertarian.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
right. Because it's really, I mean, I don't want to go off on too huge a tangent, but it's really about freedom, right? That's the goal that everybody wants. They want freedom, and freedom is ugly, right? My freedom is ugly to someone on the left. I like guns. I like America. I like personal property rights. I like personal responsibility. I like personal accountability. Right? Those are all things that I believe are my core freedoms. Right? Somebody on the other side, they think that, whether it be, can I say the A word?
What, asshole?
Oh, abortion?
Where you were pregnant and now you're not where you were pregnant and now you're not pregnant, right?
If not, then I just fucked this entire podcast. But I said it.
Yeah. See,
hand up accountability. My fault.
See how careful I am? Yeah. Good job. But so they think that that's a freedom.
Why he's in the middle.
That they should have. Right. Yeah.
You just put a black screen over me and make it even.
But do you see what I'm saying? And their freedom is ugly to me. But the problem is that it's still freedom. And I don't legislate their morality. That, in my belief system, they have to deal with their creator. They may not think so. So that freedom, the freedom is key to their identity, right? But how you get the freedom, I believe it comes from my creator. They believe that their rights are given to them by the government. And if they're given to them by the government, they can also be taken away by the government. And how are they going to take them away? At the end of a barrel of a gun.
Yeah, just like George Carlin says, it's like if rights were able to be given away, they weren't rights to start with.
Exactly. 100%. George Carlin, at the time, was considered a super liberal comedian. But if you go back and listen to his shit, it is 100% spot on.
Well, he was a truth teller.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't give a shit what anybody thought or what anybody said. He was, he lived by the freedom of expression and the freedom of speech.
Yeah. Yeah. And if he was living in today's society, he'd get...
he'd have been canceled.
What's the word? Ago. Yeah, canceled. What does that fucking mean? It's that false. It's that false pretense that the only thing that you truly care about is if people like you.
The thing is, the only way you can be canceled is canceled
Fuck
off
people.
of social media.
Like,
right, exactly.
I mean,
But that's everybody's.
unless you're
But
talking
that's-
about the other type of cancellation, then that becomes
no, it's
a legal
a false
matter.
pretense that like the only way that you can move up in society is if people like you, right? And even in that podcast I sent you guys, he even speaks on it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you wrote any notes down on that one, but like it's a sense of communion with your tribe, right?
Mm-hmm.
My tribe is my followers on Twitter. I gotta make sure that they like me. If not, then I lose. No, they're fake people. You haven't interacted with them. They're not real. They're fake until you actually interact with them in person, have these opinions and thoughts, and actually speak things out. Then you created a connection. They're either a part of your tribe or not a part of your tribe, but it's the false pretense that I can just spew whatever I want online with no repercussion.
But that's the mammalian part of your brain, the most basic part. I don't remember. I'm not a brain
scientist.
I don't know all the parts of the brain, but
most malleable.
The mammalian part of your brain, the most basic part of your brain, where if you back in the day, if you were kicked out of your tribe, not only did that mean you can't eat, but it also means you can't procreate, which means not only do you die, but your whole family line dies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now them kicking you out of your tribe or canceling you from social media, where most people your age, Frank, and really most people in general live, their tribe is now that kind of starts to interact with that part of your brain that says, hey, now I'm not going to be able to survive without all my friends on social media, when it's really, like you said, it's just fake. But
it's a false pretense.
You were talking about, like, you know, repeating things over and over and over again as part of the manipulation tactic. So I look back, so I was kind of curious again, because I did this once before, but I couldn't remember. So back in 2019, media outlets used the term 2019. This was right before the lockdown. During the media outlets used the term constitutional crisis 386 times in just 4 days. You know, so, and now that was his first term. So guess what? Trump's second term comes in. Guess what word's being thrown around and everything else again? Constitutional crisis.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Our Constitution is in crisis.
Sure.
So it said this started. So this one here
it
said
wasn't
it started
every time a new president comes involved. Like,
no, just the one on the right.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Or just one named Trump.
Diabolical. That
the first 18 days of Trump's second term, we are currently experiencing a constitutional crisis. Was the point of
why? Because you have to take a poop. Just get off the air. Go take a poop.
So a poll in April of 2025 showed that 60% of Americans expressed concerns about potential constitutional crisis. Why? Because they were told to. They were manipulated to.
It's a very good topic, man. And it brings in a lot of different perspectives too, because even news stories now that we look into, it's like, quite honestly, I should have kept this topic for a later date.
No, I mean, it's good because of what, the things we're getting into.
But it keeps the conversation healthy. Is like, okay, now in the back of my brain, I got to think, is this real? Or is this what they, and we use the word they a lot, right? Whoever's in control.
Mm-hmm.
In my eyes, whoever's in control is the people handling the strings above the people on the news, right? It's a giant pyramid. They taught you this in like elementary school whenever they showed you the pyramid for the food pyramid, right? There's somebody at the top or a group of people at the top that try to handle all the resources, all the money. What's the narrative that we like to push? There is a group of somebody out there, and it's normally secret people with a lot of money that can control other people in their situation without them realizing you don't need them. So
I mean, have you guys heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Talking about pyramids. So
explain. Topic. I'm in need of a fucking beer.
So Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So it starts out physical. This is our physiological needs: air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. So then the next level of needs is safety needs: personal security, employment, resource, health, and property. Right above that is love and belonging: friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. That's what we lost during COVID. That was erased. For 2 years, that love and belonging was erased and replaced with social media. So that's where our brain got rewired, was that level right there. So now that it jumps up into the esteem, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. So now we are rewired by social media to think this is, what's supposed to happen. This is what's supposed to do. And this is our actual news. So now it goes up into the self-actualization, desire to become the most that one can be. So this is the way that Maslow determined that, every person lives, which is basically true if you think about it. Our basic need is the physical or psychological needs or physiological needs: the air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing. We all need that to survive. And then comes next, the personal security, employment. We need employment to, make sure we have all the ones below us. And then the resources and health and property, friendship and empathy and family and sense of connection. That is one that is most generally you're seeing, like with the disconnect with all these, you can call them blue-haired left-wingers or whatever, liberals. That's kind of like what that's been erased out of their life. And a lot of that has to do, in my opinion, has to do with the fact of the lockdown for 2 years where they were shut in their house, couldn't do nothing but watch social media. And then their esteem, their respect and self-esteem got destroyed by the likes, the status of, how many people watch their videos, everything else. They were looking for recognition, strength, and freedom in the wrong sense of the words. And then now they're fighting with self-actualization. So they don't know who they are. So,
my father once said something, and I don't think this has too much to do with what you just said, but the self-actualization of like yourself, knowing who you are.
Mm-hmm.
He said, you have an issue with loving yourself. He said, how are you supposed to love anybody else in this world if you can't even love yourself enough?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how can you, go out into the world and understand what you're trying to accomplish if you don't know who you are?
Well, just like during me and Lucky's time, our biggest thing, prior to that was like the meaning of life. Everybody was like trying to find the meaning of life. That was the big thing, like from, Plato's days on the way up till, here recently. It's like everybody's the meaning of life. You don't hear that anymore. You don't hear it's just like the arguments anymore. What's the meaning of life? So does that mean that the whole construct of the meaning of life is like not important anymore?
No, they shoved that shit onto me too. And then eventually it turned into this weird technological phase. Like, it was weird. It was like I was right there in the middle of like everything changing. It was weird because I grew up with my grandparents and my parents, where they like the older school, but then I got this weird new school coming through. So like I'm placed in a weird transition phase of how the world works. And so I think that's what makes me unique is like I grew up in that phase.
Yeah. Well, see, there's another thing, because like I said, I got into I've always been a people watcher. Whenever my mom was little, she'd take me to the circus. She quit taking me to the circus because I quit watching the performers, and I was always paying attention to the people behind me.
Like, how are they reacting to this weird thing happening?
Well, no, it's just, and as I got older and stuff like that, that's always resonated with me. It's just like when I got a little bit older to understand, it's just like, I understand why. It's just like, people are interesting. People are, not one single person is the same. Not one, we talked about this the other night, not one person, you're not going to think of me the way that I think of myself. Lucky's not going to think of you the way you think of yourself. And the same goes with that, because it's impossible for somebody to think that they are
same.
Yeah, it's impossible. But so that's the reason why I took psychology. I quit studying law enforcement and I went into psychology with the law enforcement influence, because I was going to become a forensic psychologist and work with the departments to try to figure out why people did shit. But ended up going a whole different route and was pretty profitable for me for 6 years until I got burnt out. But
can you bring up the pyramid again?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I found interesting is he said that no society that hasn't had one level met will ever seek out the next level, right? So if you don't have your physiological needs met, air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction, you're never going to go to safety until the first level is met.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, because what happened was they skipped over love and belonging, and now you have these people identifying as whatever the fuck they identify as, and that's part of their self-esteem, respect, status, recognition, strength, and freedom. So now you've jumped over the love and belonging part and you went straight to the esteem part. And that's why people are short-circuiting.
Yeah.
Because they have so we live in a society where their safety needs are met, personal security for the most part, employment, resources, health, property, right? And they've jumped over one, they skipped one, and because of that, now the whole esteem piece of it is short-circuiting their brains because they've skipped out over or eliminated the love and belonging piece.
I mean, I can relate to that because, that's one thing, growing up, even before all this shit happened with the lockdowns and stuff, I think that's been missing out on mine because I'm from a large family. My family disintegrated basically when my dad passed away when I was real young. So our family basically disintegrated, so I had no sense of family anymore. Therefore, I believe I lost a sense of connection, which in turn hindered my sense of friendships and seriously hindered my sense of intimacy. So if those right there do not connect, yeah, I can see what your point. That's the reason why we're seeing all this crap going on right now, because all of that was taken away for the 2 years during the lockdown. And that's the reason why our brains were, the people that weren't, where I wasn't subjected to the lockdowns, we were, other than the fact, I mean, I never go anywhere anyway, so that didn't affect me. But when it came to my job, I was still able to do my job like normal. And
it's funny. You and I both were out there working like it was just another fucking Monday.
It was actually enjoyable.
And then there was people sitting at home doing nothing but being on social media.
Well, see, and that's a lot of reason too, going back to the whole COVID thing. It's the reason a lot of people got sick is because they were locked in behind these lights or behind the lights up there. They had no sunlight, which is our number one resource of vitamin D, which in turn is our number one need to build our immune system. So if you're locked inside in the dark, or you're locked inside scrolling social media, you're locked inside not getting sunlight, for, the respectable amount of time you need it, your vitamin D levels are going down, and therefore your immune system is depleting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not because I'm a doctor or anything. That's just because that's proven fact. You can research it.
That's the reason why during wintertime a lot of people get depression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
your vitamin D goes down, and yeah, you're stuck in the house all the time.
That's a reason why there's more babies conceived during wintertime too.
I would assume that's also why folks in the Pacific Northwest or whatever have seasonal depression, most of the year, because the sunlight, it rains up there, I guess 13 months out of the year.
Oh,
could you imagine being Alaskan?
No, I've actually been to Alaska during the summer solstice, and it is insane to witness 23 and a half hours of sunlight. And then conversely, in the winter solstice, you experience 23 and a half hours of darkness.
Yeah.
Insane.
I couldn't do that. It would. I could see where that would literally fuck somebody up if you're not used to it. Now, if you're born into it, if you're a native and you're used to, grew up that way, I'm assuming your body, because our bodies do acclimate and change to whatever environment we're around. I mean, that's not Darwin's theory. That's
eventually
just a proven fact.
But you got to get through that phase of craziness that goes on in your head.
Yeah.
I always say your brain and everything runs on electromagnetism in some facet, whether it's the sun and whatever. But that's not the point of the podcast. I think it's
all the point. But here's another thing. Is this, I will, before we kick it off, go to another ad break, and then we'll let Lucky has some things he wants to discuss. There was this one thing I started learning about this even before I took psychology, because I thought I was like, oh, I want to learn how to manipulate people and blah. There was just some crazy childhood shit that I was thinking. So there's this thing called dark psychology. Basically what it does is it takes the three malevolent personal traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychotherapy or psychopathy. So basically narcissism is the characteristic of grandiose, egotism, the lack of empathy, which, we have a lot of that going around. We all have a little bit of narcissist in us. It's just part of our construct. Now, the Machiavellianism, marked by manipulation, indifference of morality, and calculated self-interest. And then you have the psychopathy, which is antisocial behavior, impulse, callousness, and remorsefulness. All three of these traits share a callous, manipulative, interpersonal style and statistical likelihood of criminal behavior, social distress, and organizational problems, especially in leadership positions. So that's one of the things that we study too. It wasn't called the dark psychology when I was studying criminal psychology. It was called something else. I can't remember right now because that was 15 or 12 years ago. But the fact of the matter is, this is that's kind of like going into the whole thing with Hughes. He basically took this construct of dark psychology to be able to start understanding how people, worked. So, I mean, yeah, if anybody wants to get into it, read dark psychology. I mean, there's audiobooks out there. There's a shit ton of publications and everything else out there on it. I read occasionally when a new podcast comes up on it or some type of a read, I will listen to it. But there are patterns, and that's what this Chris Hughes or Chase Hughes came up with was he found these patterns, and I'm sure probably going through reading things like this that realized the patterns. And, but yeah, it's just shit's crazy.
One more thing before we change, I found this was much later in the podcast, where someone could be someone that goes to their psychologist, right? And they could actually accidentally have dissociative personality disorder created by their psychologist. So where he was talking about, do you feel like there's part of you that wants to do this or part of you that has these traits, and so now you've created two parts of this person, right? And then they say, okay, well, when you do those other traits, person B, right? Like, what would you give that person a name? And in their brain now they've created this reality or the possibility of a reality where now not only do I have two personalities, but now that other personality has a name. And it is, I mean, just the stuff that, like, you really need to watch that whole podcast. Take 3 hours. Take 3 hours.
I have to watch it, and I have to watch it in segments because both of them. Because I have
eventually it's an overload of information that my brain can't handle.
Well, anything with Sean Ryan, I like what he has to say, and he's a good podcaster, and he's a good. He does a lot of good investigation. But my biggest thing is that both voices. I mean, Sean Ryan has a mundane voice. His tone never changes. I mean, that's what mundane is. He just kind of has this whole like, oh, how does that work? Or that puts me to sleep. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. I can have 25 hours of sleep, but I start listening to people like that, I'm out instantly.
Right.
And having
then the
both
other
of them,
guy was the same way, dude.
Yeah,
I don't think any voice level changes. Like,
yeah, he was he had a very monotone, deliberate delivery.
Yeah. So
very intelligent. I will say that.
Oh, yeah.
Very intellectual.
But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get on with another break. So what do you know? We're just going to go ahead and hit the button.
When the morning hits hard, you just say, fuck coffee. Life's a mess, but your brew ain't fuck coffee. No sugar-coated, no fake smile. Just black truth in your cup. When reality bites down, fuck the world, drink up. Fuck coffee.
Go to
Triple B approved, common sense in a mug. Fuck coffee because mornings are tough.
What's the code? All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it was pretty good. I like the So that kind of like leads off. So like I said, we're talking about psyops this podcast. So, like I said, keep it. If you guys have been listening to us in the beginning or just now catching on, keep an idea of some of the things we talk about, because some of the stories and articles, or some of the stories that we discuss, or actually all the stories that we discussed tonight, we'll put them through my little psyops generator I created, and we'll figure out if they're what they score on the psyops. Lucky, take it away, my dude. What do you got?
I'm excited for this.
Well, so the presidential, the assassination attempt on Trump. I don't know if you watched the Tucker Carlson episode, but basically, I think that whole, based on the information that I heard, And it's really the podcast really or the episode really brought up more questions than it did answers. Right? There were so many things about that Crooks fella, right? That why did the media and the FBI, right, completely omit all of basically the big thing that we heard was that he has no online presence. He's a ghost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And literally, Tucker Carlson listed about 10 or 15 different online personas that he found, linking it to from his phone number to his Gmail account, and then 15 other online personas that he had created. Some in Belgium. There was another country in Europe, but basically, he had Venmo accounts. So why did the FBI come out and say this guy's a ghost? Right? Why did the FBI, who typically hires out crime scene cleanups to third-party contractors, why did they the FBI actually the day after go up and hose off the rooftop where Crooks was killed? Right?
Mm.
Why did the FBI release the body for cremation the day before House Republicans had set an inquiry to into the whole matter?
Well, you remember
Right?
on that aspect, you remember we did that once before too. We
With
cremated somebody's body before actually any official notification could be done.
who was
Did
that?
you guess who that was? Osama bin Laden.
Oh, well, they dumped him in the ocean.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it was like right after he was right after they killed him.
Right. Nobody ever saw a picture of him dead. Right. So it really brought up more questions than it did answers. And if they did release him for cremation, it's standard operating procedure to keep brain matter, to keep tissue samples, to keep spinal fluid. Like you can't do a toxicology result on a burned body.
No.
Right. You don't know if this person was fed psychedelics to potentially, generate an alter ego or a Manchurian I'll say Manchurian candidate, but Manchurian, this other alter ego, which kind of leads into the last point that I made, was you can create dissociative personality disorder in someone pretty quick. Who's to say that this wasn't a engineered? It wasn't some kid. By the way, did anybody ever see a picture of him after the age of 14?
See, I have a theory. I'm going to drop my. I mean, it was an internet theory the whole time, but it kind of like poof, disappeared like within the first 48 hours.
So, what's your theory?
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen it or not, because like I said, it was in and out so quick, and it was dismissed so quick that nobody really gave it any second thought. But there was another gentleman called Matthew Yerrick. That, like I said, even if you look up now, if you try to search it, use AI or whatever, they don't even have nothing. It's just like that was a false rumor, that was a conspiracy, didn't exist, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, let's see if I can find his side by side. But somebody put up like the hours after the assassination, and they named Thomas Crooks as the assassin. I don't even know if you can probably find him anymore. Yeah, they totally scrubbed him from X. Oh, wait a minute, that's bookmarks. I don't want bookmarks. So, anyways, this dude here was like 22 years old, but back during Trump's first term back in 2016, he was arrested for being an anti-Trumper. He was arrested at one of his rallies as being a I think
the Matthew Yurt guy.
Yeah, I think it was like in Philly or something like
Okay.
that, or Pittsburgh, somewhere up there, wherever Trump was at. It was during the re-election thing, but he was arrested at one of his rallies, and so he was a hardcore anti-Trumper.
It's always them crazy bastards.
But
don't know what they like.
Yeah, they've totally erased him off. If I spelled it right, Mather.
We got people standing on top of water towers over here. Like, what are we doing?
Let's see if I can. I'm trying to see if I can find the old. Like I said, they might have already scrubbed it.
What did I say though? You can find anybody.
Oh, that's how they found
on how much money they are willing to spend to locate them.
Well, not only that, but that's how they found a lot of the shit. But it took just a PI found all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What he's talking about, all the text messages and everything else.
But can you tell me how it's not fake?
Well, here's the other thing.
Like the idea of like this happening.
No, I'm talking about his social media account, about him having a social media presence.
Yeah,
and a PI found it.
Yeah,
not the FBI, not the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yeah. The biggest investigative body in the world, right? Yeah. A private investigator found it.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, also, crooks went to supposedly train at a gun range that FBI agents trained at. Apparently, there's video footage of that, but it's never been released.
Also, isn't that the same dude that was like a child star of some sort with like one of the top bankers? I know that's a crazy thing to say out loud, but there was
Thomas Crooks.
Yes.
No, he was in a BlackRock ad.
A BlackRock ad, yeah. So.
Yeah. So that
How'd
was
you get that gig and then go into trying to attempt to shoot the president?
Well, BlackRock does own 98% of the world.
Well, also before he was,
thank you.
So, and they omitted almost all of his online search or his online comments. They get hundreds of comments talking about decapitating Ilhan Omar. These people that are against Trump should have their heads on stakes as an example to the rest of them. They should send their dead bodies back to the country that they came from or whatever. But then it switched, and it switched very abruptly to where now he was anti-Trump, super left-wing, and it was all in 2020. Shocker, right? Everything happened in 2020.
Right, here we go. Here's my...
And that was during COVID, wasn't it?
I can't get this.
Oh, I remember. I saw this. I remember this.
Right, so this side here with a show. Kind of gruesome, so sorry. So this is the alleged shooter. This is the picture of the alleged shooter on the roof, Thomas Crooks. This is supposedly Thomas Crooks. This is Maxwell Urich, which is the one that the internet put together like hours after they announced Thomas Crooks was the assassin. And this dude has not been heard from or seen since that day.
Huh.
No social media presence. He literally does not have a social media presence. Nobody is, And the thing is, his family, Urich, they They had an arms company that they ran out of their house. And they did a lot of dealings with Iran and all of these other countries. And the fact of the matter,
facial features are even similar, even if not ears are not similar.
Well, see,
eyebrows aren't right, nose isn't right.
But you got to realize, look, so this is a gauge scar for the gauges.
Yep.
In your ears.
He had to sew them back together.
He's got gauges.
Yeah. He also changes eyebrows.
This is a 2016 photo. This is a 2024 photo.
My
maybe he tweezes.
But that's what I'm saying. This is what, I'm not trying to like refire up a conspiracy theory, but the fact of the matter,
throwing it at you.
But no, they just got me throwing because Lucky said it. Lucky said it right. When was the last time that there was a?
When did you see a picture of that dude that wasn't in
that doesn't even look like
grade.
Thomas Crook.
The nose is completely wrong. The ears are wrong.
Correct. That's not even a real. That is not real.
And all the pictures and all the pictures, videos, or whatever, even the ones that were released here recently, does not show him in long hair.
Maxwell Urick looks more like the alleged shooter than Thomas Crooks ever could.
Right.
So, and like I said, the fact of the matter that person in the middle has gauge marks, healed up gauge marks in his ears. Do you see gauge marks in Thomas Crook's ears? Do you see gauges in his ears?
No. See, they just gave you a name because they don't know the answer. And if they do know the answer, they just don't give a shit about us to give us the answer.
Where's his gauges?
What's up with Thomas Crook? Is he dead?
That's
supposedly.
Supposedly, that's the one that was supposedly took a shot at Trump.
And he's the one that
was killed on the rooftop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
does he have family?
Yes, he's got a family. But the fact of the matter is, there was this video that's resurfaced shortly after. Let's see if I can find it again.
How about this Urick guy? Does he have family?
Yeah, but nobody's. They stopped looking, and there's no other information on him. There's no social media presence on him. No, he hasn't been. I mean, there's no missing report person or anything like that. But
that's what I mean. Why not? If they had a family, why not?
Is this part of the whole?
This.
Well, look at so I mean,
that could have been a police dead body for all we know.
But look at the fact, look at the fact of the Epstein files, that we'll talk about here a little bit later. All these people were bought. All these victims were bought off.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were given non-prosecution agreements as long as they didn't talk about anything. So who's to say? It's just like, I mean, it's not the first time the government's bought people off to shut up. Goes back to JFK.
I was just going to say that. It's not like they're not above or not. That's not below them, beneath them to do.
What do you think would have been changed in our world if we weren't lied to by the government?
I don't know.
This is a deep question.
That's like saying, how would it be if water wasn't wet?
Okay, so let's just go back to JFK assassination. What would have changed?
Had he
not been
assassinated?
Yep. What changed directly after that? And I already have one answer for you guys. It's the military-industrial complex. That's one.
No, that was already in place before him.
From my understanding, it didn't happen until after,
like World War I.
No, it started right between World War I and World War II.
Right.
Okay.
It grew. It grew after World War II.
Well, I think Vietnam wouldn't have happened.
No.
That's where my confusion was. Yep.
Yeah, because he was wanting to pull us out of Vietnam, and when Lyndon B. Johnson got in there after he was assassinated,
that motherfucker wanted his coke in the country.
Even LBJ sit there and he goes, "Now you have your war, ladies and gentlemen."
Yeah.
Because they wanted war, because war makes money. I mean, it's a proven fact. War makes money.
Right.
Except for the loser.
Just don't lose.
It actually really never mattered whether you're a winner or a loser, as long as you're paying for the people with the guns, or selling the guns, drug money, or the people handler. You'll all make money.
Yeah, but no, I'm like with you. Going back to this whole crooks thing. I mean, when I, like you said, when I heard all that stuff, when they talking about the radicalization from 2019 to 2020. He was pro-Trump in 2019 and anti-Trump in 2020.
And like completely the other way.
So what happened?
Right. I mean, it was radically different. Talking about, how, people, the Trump supporters are so dumb that I don't remember all the comments he made, but it was literally a 180 degree out of phase turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my theories. The simple fact that he trained at the same gun range as the FBI, Biden's FBI.
I see what you're inferring there. Yep, I like it.
And there's video footage at the gun range. By the way, we have no idea who the FBI agents that were there. And there's video footage that's never been made available.
He was like the proxy, or the what's the term there? He was the setup. He was the setup.
Patsy.
Yeah, the patsy. Yeah.
He apparently
the
researched. Right. He researched Jack Ruby, who was the guy who killed Lee Harvey Oswald. There's just, if you listen to that Tucker Carlson, it's only like 35 minutes long. The problem that I had with it is I thought I was going to get answers, and all I really got was more questions. But
that's when you really know you did more research. You really did the research.
Yeah, because that's how they found it, because they found a phone number that was unredacted in a report that miraculously appeared out of nowhere. That's how they found all this shit through. We're able to connect crooks.
Just a random phone number?
His phone number.
Yeah, it was his phone number.
That was unredacted in a report.
Yeah. The only phone number unredacted.
Gmail. Yeah, they tied that to his Gmail. And then from there, they found all these other online personas.
Wow. And that was through the PI.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. PI found that. Hey, man, that's good research. That's good research.
Like,
man. That's good.
Yeah, not the FBI.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Well, see, the FBI during the Biden administration was so hyper-focused on taking down Trump, they couldn't do anything else.
Apparently,
they had a lot of paper to pick up.
Much more
lotion.
They had a lot of names to scrub from the Epstein files.
They had a lot of baby lotion to go pick up from somebody's house.
Mm-hmm.
Or they had to go through Melania's underwear drawer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder how many G-strings they kept.
Couple sniffs here, couple sniffs there. Yeah.
This is for evidence purposes.
But again, real quick, I want to thank everybody for being here. I know our count keeps going up and down, but I appreciate you guys, especially heavy on X. I appreciate it. Which, if you guys have anything you want to say or contribute, just type it in chat. I'll read it to the guys, and we'll respond to it. So don't be scared to conversate with us. Just trying to find. There was a video. Oh, here's that video that you were talking about, which you thought you're trying to connect with the. This is the BlackRock ad.
Knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do. I hope when I retire someday, they say that guy made this place a special place to come to school and gave as much as he could to help the community.
Wait, go back.
Just a blip.
Yeah, right there.
That guy.
That's Thomas Crooks.
Also, not long hair.
Yep. So if that was current, what do you do? Put a fucking wig on? Like, try to be like fucking what's his name from? Oh fuck, I can't even think of the name. Mike Myers and Dana Carvey.
Yeah, folks.
Wayne's
Who's in
World.
power?
Yeah, Wayne's World. But yeah, so I mean, the fact of the matter that there was a video that came out that really got people. That's probably been taken down too.
Well, I don't want to see that timeline of yours for.
Oh no, this isn't my timeline. But yeah, there was a video.
Throwing it out there.
Oh, my timeline. No, you wouldn't want
I'm
to
like
see my
this.
timeline.
Titties.
Daddies and bears. Daddies and bears.
So, doubt is our product.
So yeah, and so yeah, that it kind of leads to the title of the podcast, right? You know, the whole thing about doubt, and do you think that doubt or how about this trust in our institutions has been and is being eroded?
Especially in the past, 12 years?
5 years.
Well, I'm thinking before Trump, when he was going through his his stages of trying to become a president, he kind of started eroding those barriers.
Right? Just the whole impeachment thing.
Mm-hmm.
Narrative. God, let me go right back to it. Narrative-driven control of perception.
Yeah.
With the aim of shaping behavior. Whose behavior? The constituents' behavior? I believe so.
See, this is what got me, because when I was during this whole thing, when I first started doing the political side things, I researched this and I found this clip, and it's hard to find nowadays. But this is Obama. I think it was the basic concept was he was talking about the Republicans like Steve Bannon and everything else during an investigation that they were doing. But this is like, I have this in like a intro video, but I can't. That's the music that I got tagged on because it wasn't. But this is Obama at Stanford. He's talking about disinformation in social media.
Understand, it's not necessary for people to believe disinformation in order to weaken democratic institutions. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe.
He said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, and he admitted to, because he's the one that started allowing propaganda for the American people to be propagandized. He allowed the government newspapers, when he took away the Smith-Mundt Act, he allowed them to start propagandizing. And it's the reason why after 2009, or after when he left office, that's the reason why you started seeing so much hate and disconnect, just kind of flooding timelines and everything else.
So as I said, when you ask that question, is when? Right after Mr. Obama, Osama, whatever his name is, and Trump.
Osama.
My bad.
Little
It's
Freudian
Barack
slip there.
Hussein. It's Trump because his middle name is
I
Hussein.
can
So,
never say their
so
names.
Trump always made sure that he always sit there and said Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah, he's insane for sure.
Hussein, like Hussein Obama or Hussein from Iraq.
Saddam Hussein.
Name
Yeah,
is.
Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, so the whole Thomas Crooks thing, for me, well, let me answer my own question. Do I think that faith in our institutions has been eroded and is being eroded? 100%. And institutions such as, the government, the whole JFK files that came out, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, CIA had something to do with it. Well, guess what? Everybody kind of already knew that. But these conspiracy theories keep just becoming true.
Mm-hmm.
And the scary thing about it is they're paid to do that. People are paid to fill the public square with raw sewage.
Yep. And I'll tell you, 99 times out of 100, if the Democrats are accusing somebody of doing something, they're the ones that are doing it.
Well,
they are the biggest projectors I've ever seen.
Well, that's just anybody. If anybody is flat out accusing you, like steadfast accusing you of something that you didn't do, that probably means they did it first. It's a deflection.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening here, with this whole thing now, trying to get back on topic with ICE, since the Epstein files and shit got released. That's what it is. It's a deflection because, there's a lot of shit coming out about that.
Are we switching to the Epstein files?
If you're done.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done. To be honest, I wish I had more. Like I said, I just feel like
that was really good, though. That was a very
good
conversation.
There was just more questions than I didn't have time today to dive deep into it. So
well, and I don't think anybody's really had enough time to like divest into, because I know I didn't. I didn't have anything because that just dropped. All that shit just dropped here over the weekend. It's just like the Epstein files. There's 2,200 or 22,000 fucking documents, which I went through like 60 of them the other night. And it's like I was telling Frank, it's just like most of those documents that dropped were fucking Epstein's Google alerts on Trump, or certain things like that. But there was some interesting things. Like I said, we all know that, they dumped the 22,000 last week, and then now it's been signed, Trump signed it and everything else. It's going to House committee or going to Pam Bondi. Then it's got to go to House committee. So all of you influencers that think you're going to get the dirt right away, check back next year. Maybe you might get it then. Because even though they only have 30 days. So the rule is now is they have, since it's at Pam Bondi's, or Trump signed the bill, Pam Bondi has 30 days to produce all the documents unredacted to the House Service Committees. Because then they have to go through it line by line to make sure that there is no foreign intelligence, leaks or anything else like that.
Yeah. Any national security information.
So there's going to be another year and another $1.5 million or whatever wasted on that, thanks to, all you social media wannabes out there that think you're investigators. But the fact of the matter is that it feeds right into the whole thing that we're talking about now. It's just like the Epstein files was a deflection. It was something the Democrats created to keep the limelight and the hate going towards Trump. Like I said, you can like him, love him, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't have any, there's some things I like what he's doing. There's some things that I don't like what he's doing. But
you're absolutely right. It's a deflection on what's actually important right now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what they are going to do in 3 years when the new election comes up, or 2 years. They don't know what they're doing now, let alone like how they're going to change anything.
Well, see,
They
they
just
did
start
it.
throwing shit out a wall. I
Yeah.
think I sent this video to your daughter over there, Lucky, but it's a guy that picks up shit out of his yard that his neighbor's dog shit in their yard, and then he walks it over across the street, chucks it at their fucking Yukon. That's what they're doing and hoping it sticks. I just it is a massive deflection on their part.
We'll see a
Well,
lot.
and
Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, and you hear Kamala like, "Oh, release the files, release the files." Bitch, you had a whole 4 years. You were the vice president of the United States of America. You could, like, you. So now it's Trump's trying to keep the files. He signed the law. You had 4 years. You had these
Oh,
files for 4 years.
but the thing is now it's just like, oh, because they've had all this time with the rest of the files, they were able to redact them, redact or erase or delete some shit out of it. So now that Trump's
Yeah,
name's
they're
not
just
in there.
hiding.
I mean, there's even rumor, with some of the speculations that you see on social media. Like I said, I use it as research. I don't use it as basis of my thoughts or what I come up with on the podcasts. But it was about now that Trump because Trump, there's records and everything else that Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago for being a deviant. He was being disrespectful to one of his guests' daughters, so they kicked him out. So Trump's not denying that he knew the guy and that he interacted with the guy prior to that, but he's denying any type of a reaction or an interaction afterwards. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's kind of funny okay, but it makes sense though. If he was an FBI informant to try to get more dirt on Epstein to get his case even further into the justice system, it would be a perfect. And because you got to realize, Trump's an actor. Trump is a master manipulator.
Right.
Who's the one person that voted against it? Who was that?
Oh.
Was that just a funny thing?
That's just
they're
a-
like, yeah,
No,
they're like,
I have that.
just because I can.
And he didn't vote
Nay.
against it. He voted present, so it doesn't count as an actual vote. He didn't
because
vote
it was
against
421 to 1.
Yeah,
So
it's
as a
because the
present.
one guy voted present. He didn't vote one way or the other.
He's like, I'm here. I don't care. I'm just waiting for my other paycheck from last month. Oh wait, that's right. I kept getting paid.
So, like I said, we all know it all. I mean, we all knew they were going to be released. I mean, it was no big deal. I mean, even Senator or Speaker of the House Johnson even sat there and says, "Yeah, once it gets here, I'll vote for it because we want it out. We want it done. We want it over with. We want to get back to what is more important. Getting the government back or getting the country back on track." So basically, like I said, so this whole thing is the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It's pretty bad. We have to make an entire act to do that.
They
But
put that in paper. It's in a frame somewhere.
So, like I said, now it passed the House, passed the Senate. Now it's Trump signed it. So now it's sitting in Bondi's lap. She's got 30 days to release all the files to the House Select Service Committee or whatever it is. And then it'll sit in committee for, how many bills are in committee that's been there for like years or put things. I think once they start finding something else and they start deflecting social media and they start sending all these new scripts out, because 2026 is coming up, so the midterm. So a lot of these congressmen that are up for re-election in 2026, they're going to be more focused on trying to win their seats back, which I think most of them are going to be primaried because the Democratic Socialists have already snuck in and they're already embedding themselves into the voter pools. I think you're going to see a lot of, I think Jasmine Crockett's going to get primaried. I think Hakeem Jeffries is going to get primaried. I think there's going to be a lot of these voices you've been hearing are going to get primaried. And I think AOC is going to get Schumer's Senate position.
Yeah, I did too.
Which I'm kind of in a way glad for that, because Schumer needs to go, and I think AOC has a lot of good ideas in a sense. When she's not ranting and raving on TikTok and shit like that about Trump.
Is she controlled enough for the Democratic Party?
Well, she's a Democratic Socialist.
Yeah, she is an actual DSA member.
Yeah, so is
card
Bernie.
carrying.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bernie Sanders and her both are. It's the reason why they're holding hands at everything.
Hop on the Mamdami.
Did you see that Joe Rogan podcast with fucking Bernie Sanders on there?
No, I can't stand listening to Bernie.
Forever ago I did.
So
it was hectic. It was hectic. I will say that.
Yeah,
so the one person that voted against it was a Republican, actually. Yeah. Clay Higgins of Louisiana.
Yeah.
He said, what was wrong with the bill 3 months ago is still wrong today. It abandons 250 years of criminal justice procedure in America.
Yeah, because they're wanting to redact all the names of the victims. They're wanting everything unredacted. That means everybody that was involved and all victims' names will be unredacted. So those that did not want to come forward after the incident, or just kind of like wanted to move on with their lives, now they're going to be drawn back into this shit again.
I respect that. I respected of that senator.
Oh, I was okay with that too. It's just like, yeah, go ahead and release all the fucking files, but make sure that the victims' names, even though most of them are adults now, but they were minors back then. And like I said, some of those people, so a lot of the victims were bought and paid for. You know, that's the reason why J.P. Morgan got sued, and that's the reason why one of the other banking institutions got sued, because they were financial funders of Epstein, and so they just set up Jeffrey Epstein set up a foundation, or Epstein's estate set up a foundation to help buy off all these witnesses or all these victims, and then the big banks with J.P. Morgan and this other one, they also paid off like $200 and some million in bribe money to be quiet. There was four or five girls that were recruiters for Epstein that were given non-prosecution deals, which that means they will never be prosecuted for this, no matter what.
J.P. Morgan did that before or after they joined with Chase?
Before. This was in 2016
Do you think that's
2000,
the reason why they
2005
became solvable, or whatever it was, to where they connected with Chase Bank?
I think there was just a lot of missed money handling.
Also, ironically, when 9/11 happened. That's another conspiracy I have. Yeah. I'm just gonna bring in conspiracies now that connect everybody's fucking topics.
So
I wasn't planning on that one, but it's funny.
Oh no! So JP, so it was after. I guess JP Morgan Chase agreed to pay $290 million settlement to survivors. The settlement was reached in June of 2023 after class action lawsuits accused banking facilities or facilitating Epstein's abuse for over 15 years.
Mm.
So the settlement covers well over 100 victims, women, girls sexually abused, trafficked by Epstein as far back as 1998 and all the way up through 2013. Each survivor in the class action payout from each survivor in the class action received a payout from the $290 million after attorney's fees. So what, 10% of attorney's fees? So attorneys got $29 million. I mean, that's what the general average of attorney's fee for those are. Final approval settlement granted. Let's see. There's a separate $75 million settlement for Deutsche Bank. That was the other one. So yeah, Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank.
Douchebags, whatever.
Dutch Bank, Deutsche Bank. But no, so I mean, like I said, so like I said, the big thing right now is, the files are in motion. I would say we're not going to see anything, and as you can see if you watch X long enough, you can see who's paid influencers.
What we focus on now? I'm back.
Is that what you look like? Is that what you're seeing? Is that we're looking through the eyes of Frank right now?
Without his glasses. Without his glasses on.
That's what it looks like.
So, like I said, you're seeing a lot of these influencers on X and on TikTok and everything else. There's two different types of influencers you're seeing. You're seeing the ones that are being paid to talk about this from, some, negatively, whether they know information about it or not. They're just handed scripts to read and to repost. And then you have the other ones that are just riding the engagement train. That's all it is. Nobody has any real information to put out there. It's all engagement.
Well, and the ones that are being handed a script, that's a psyop.
Yeah.
Muddy the waters enough with a bunch of random motherfuckers.
Yes.
And then.
Exactly. Narrative-driven control of perception.
So the funny thing about it is, now they, we'll get a little bit deep dive into some other things, but the funny thing I wanted to bring up now, because this popped up here today. So Mark Epstein, which is Jeffrey Epstein's brother, went on CNN or whatever, MSNBC, and started spraying all this stuff. It's like, oh, I know for sure that that Epstein had dirt on Trump, blah, blah, blah. But, okay, so since a lot of people probably don't know the background of Mark Epstein, here is Mark Epstein. So, approximately, he was born in 1955, so born in Brooklyn, New York. Went to Cooper Union, Manhattan Art School. It's kind of funny because, Epstein was into art and was also, a mathematician or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Stony Brook University. Started as an artist, ran silkscreen t-shirt business in New York, described as one of the most versatile silkscreen printing companies in New York City. Today, he's a real estate developer, founder of OSSA Properties. It owns multiple New York City buildings. So OSSA Properties, funded in the early 1990s.
Mm-hmm.
At one point managed over 500 rental units across 4 co-op buildings in New York City. Holds majority stake in 301 East 66th Street, the 16-unit condo building in Manhattan, where just by accident, that is where Jeffrey Epstein had a bunch of units in and was the basis of his sex trafficking operation.
Mm-hmm.
So here's some of the people that lived in that during that time. So Jeffrey's associates who lived and worked at 301 East 66th Street. You have Eva Anderson, which is Jeffrey's ex-girlfriend, now married to hedge fund billionaire Glenn Dubin. Look him up. He's kind of wishy-washy too. Jean-Luc Brunel, Jeffrey's business partner, at MC2 model or MC Squared modeling agency, which is where he drew a lot of people.
Clientele.
In. Yeah.
Clientele.
Nadia Markonovic ran a business register at the residence. Not Nadia, a female. Sarah Kellen also ran a registered business at that residence. Could you say bordello? Or, madam or whatever they were called back then. Darren Eindyke, Jeffrey's lawyer who lived in the unit co-owned by OSSA Properties. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak.
What?
He was a frequent visitor to that area. Photographed outside that house back in 2016. So let's look at this. So this is all under, Mr. Mark thinks he's like a high saint, but so the MC2 or MC squared modeling agency, named after Einstein's E equals MC squared, with the E standing for Epstein, was the modeling agency that Jeffrey invested in. Models were housed. They were housed at 301 East 66th Street. 4 girls to an apartment. In 2011, a former MC squared employee claimed in a sworn statement that the MC squared models were, in fact, victims of Epstein's underage sex trafficking operation. Mark Epstein also started a modeling agency called Saint Model and Talent. It's kind of funny that family likes the word saint.
Right.
Little St. James, which is Pedo Island.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a random question that I don't think is going to be random, but you know how I like to track the money? Money is always important when stupid shit happens. Who loaned the money to Mark for those buildings?
Jeffrey did.
No, I mean for all his buildings. How did his son give him money?
That was his brother. Jeffrey's Mark's brother.
Okay, I'm confused here. Okay, you started off in the beginning talking about his father, right?
No, his brother, Mark
his brother.
Epstein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
always been his brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the story and in real life, they've always been brothers.
Yeah.
It's all a psyop. It's all fake.
But so no, the whole question is, and that's what everybody
crazy.
says. It's like that nobody knows where Jeffrey got his money. Yes, he was a real estate mogul. He was this and that, but there was never anything hardcore about it because he went from a mathematician or a math professor at one of the NYU, I think, or something like that. I can't remember. I'm not going to quote that, but he was a math professor, and then all of a sudden became high society,
Billionaire.
Became a billionaire and started owning. He had several properties across the country, and had one down in New Mexico, which was another what they classified was a pedo ranch, and so. That's what I'm saying. It's just like this dude. I mean, this Mark dude really doesn't have anything to stand on because he's just as dirty as Jeffrey is, in my opinion. He was connected with it. He knew what Jeffrey was doing. He knew everything that was going on because he owned the damn buildings. I'm sure he was there. I'm sure he was a part of it. I mean, but the fact of the matter is, he even though he repeatedly denied being a part of anything, business records show that he was a part of it. but no, I mean that's
what I'm saying.
The dude is not clean, as he's trying to say, and I think that's what we're talking about. I think him coming on CNN and saying all this shit is a deflection, so people don't dive into him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do the deep dive. Don't look at this shit. That's the first time when I heard that on CNN, I said, it's like, okay, who the fuck is this dude? Because he's got something to hide.
It's like, if you follow the money, you always find the problem.
And then when I researched him, I found all this shit, and it's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. He was Epstein's fucking right hand man through this whole thing. I mean, that's what the records show. He knew exactly what Jeffrey was up to. And if Jeffrey had dirt on Trump, that means Mark has dirt on Trump. So why isn't Mark coming forward with the proof and everything else?
And even if he doesn't have dirt on Trump, supposedly these files have dirt on Trump. And you don't think through 2 impeachments his first term that they wouldn't have been like slapping that on the table like game over, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like I said, I don't know how much you guys stamp on this, but the deflection, this video dropped today that we watched, about the whole military thing with the senators. It dropped right after everything else dropped guess who's been implicated in the files?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Mr. Hakeem Jeffries himself is implicated in the files.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
That's the big mouth. That's the Obama-looking senator that tries to act like
That's the
he's
minority.
Obama.
That's the minority lead in the House of Representatives.
They couldn't have picked a better picture.
Well, it's on Twitter. It blurred out.
Yeah,
But supposedly Hakeem Jeffries, there was an email
anything
found
that
in some.
sounds like you got to spit. Yeah, I'm.
Hockey too. I spit on that thing.
Oh my God! Too soon. Too soon.
Never too soon for that. That's hilarious. The timing on that was beautiful.
But no, that's what I'm saying. This dropped, and then this came out of the files about there was an email sent to Jeffrey Epstein from Hussein Hakeem Jeffries, that was bragging to Epstein about him being the next Barack Obama of the Bronx or something like that, and was begging him to donate to his campaign fund to run for senator. You know, and of course, you know, Jeffries comes, oh, I don't know about that email.
Sure.
You know, well, you're not smart. You're not as smart as Hillary was to get rid of all her emails before. Was that too soon?
Neither was Epstein.
Control Alt Delete and burn the goddamn house down. What are you thinking here?
Well, fucking, at least Hillary was smart. She had it on a separate fucking hard drive and took it with her. But no, that's what I'm saying. You're seeing this popped out. Well, this wasn't the first one, but this one I thought was comical, considering he's been like the biggest voice, and now he's the quietest voice. Then you had Miss Stacey Plaskett.
Oh yeah.
This was kind of funny because she was in a congressional hearing against Comey in 2019, televised live on C-SPAN, and she was taking text messages from Epstein during the hearing. And Epstein was coaching her on what questions to ask and everything else. And this is what she had to say about it.
Rest in peace, and his name be a memory. After not allowing Mr. Jordan to shut the committee hearing down. And I turned to Mr. Jordan and told him to have respect for the chair. Mr. Raskin, to my former professor in law school, and I want to address the body. I first want to give you all a sense of what was happening that day. Everyone knows at that hearing in February, the entire country was watching.
Oh, it's the Trump hands.
And that's how they found out. That's the reporter at the I think the New York Journal or the Wall Street Journal, one of them two, New York Post. They took the timestamp from the text message off the email and connected it to her live video or her video timestamp that she was asking the questions, and it matched exactly.
Cohen decided he was going to finally give up information about what was happening in the Trump world, the Trump enterprise.
You can tell she's nervous as fuck.
And at the beginning of that hearing,
well, she did
the
Trump
ranking
hands.
member Jim Jordan,
well, also talking shit about Trump.
The disrespect to Elijah Cummings, may he rest in peace and his name be a memory, after not allowing Mr. Jordan to shut the committee. Rest in peace and his name be a memory. Ranking member Jim Jordan had the disrespect to Elijah Cummings, may he rest in peace and his name be a memory, after not allowing Mr. Jordan to shut the committee hearing down.
I'm glad that you redid
and
that.
I turned
to
Mr. Jordan and told him to have respect for the chair and to basically shut up. And that moment went viral. And I began to get innumerable texts from friends, from foes, from constituents about what was happening in that hearing. And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time.
Bullshit. He was convicted of sex or prostitution in fucking 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
So he was already on the government watch list for being a sex trafficker. And she's trying to sit there and say today that it wasn't relevant.
It wasn't
Katie
public
Couric,
knowledge.
Katie Couric did the same thing. She was invited to an intimate dinner just shortly after he was released from prison down in Florida. And she said, she goes, oh, it wasn't common. That's the exact same thing. It's one of those scripted words. It wasn't common knowledge yet that everything was happening. Bullshit. It was all over the news. He was arrested and released.
So I brought up before with this, you know how I was you guys watched the same video I was. They were using a PR group.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think all these motherfuckers are doing the same thing?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a PR group that's
They
heavily
got
invested
one group
in DNC.
for them, one group for that group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It might be the same group, but we won't know.
Harry Sison's a part of that. He's part of that agency, and because they were trying to link him to being paid to talk what he's paying, talk negative about it when it came out. Literally, there's documentation saying that group that agency he's a part of contributes heavily to the DNC. And so that means if you're contributing heavily to the DNC and that agency sitting there saying, we need to make videos on this, or we need to make videos on that, or you don't get paid, you're under contract with them, you have to make them.
Right.
Whether you believe it or not. But Harry Sison's been so brainwashed that, it's just common knowledge because he's fucking, I'm not sure, he probably doesn't make shit, but yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you can see it. Look at all the fucking TikTok videos they did during the election. All the ghetto dances and everything else, and all the completely framed responses after the election. That all the Democrats went on TikTok and made the exact same statement, just changed a little bit of words here and there, but it was the exact same script. There was at least 20 of them, that made the exact same TikTok. And it's just like one of those companies that owns the ABC affiliate that took Kimmel off the air for their affiliate stations. They're the ones, the Sinclair stations, they're the ones that came up with that big broadcast of all these news anchors saying the same thing at the same time. That got them into hot water. They almost got sued by a lot of these other agencies because somebody in that company made this entire freaking montage of all of these newscasters over the years saying the exact same thing. So yeah, I mean, that right there was the proof that we needed that, yes, everybody is being scripted.
Yeah.
And like I said, and I think this whole thing, that video dropping today of the military, I think that was a deflection off of the Democrats are the ones that are being implicated in this stronger than what Trump is. And the fact of them, and somebody, I watched a comedy video the other day. He goes, this was hilarious. He sits there, he goes, you know what? He goes, you know what would be really hilarious and what would really shut the Democrats up? If Trump came out and sit there and said, I'm your first gay president. They would have to backtrack. They would have to backtrack every damn rude thing they've ever said, or they would be called out hypocrites for being hateful and derogatory to a gay person. When they're the biggest advocacy, supposedly the biggest advocacy for gay rights. Let's see if I can find that because it was fucking hilarious. I'm pretty sure I know I saved it.
Hey, did you watch that movie there, Lucky? Probably not. Been busy as hell.
The movie you sent me.
Yeah, The Big Short.
The Big Short? No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I was watching a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah. Hey, longer than the movie. That's
Yeah.
so crazy, man. That's the type of stuff like I listen to at work, while I'm delivering. So I'll miss a couple bites here and there, which 3 hours, whatever.
Here it is.
But I'll
This
have
is
that
fucking
running
hilarious.
all day.
So by now you've heard the news about Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. Like peak level genius. What now? How are you going to spin this? No, but like what if he came out and said that it happened? Like even if it didn't, what if he owned it and said that yes, he did that? Why? He would have every Democrat and liberal and the Clintons in a compromising position. Because not only could the Clintons not refute it, because that's why Bill got impeached in the first place, but also every Democrat and liberal would have to walk back every single thing they've ever said about Donald Trump, because they'd be persecuting a gay man that was closeted in his journey, and anything they ever say in the future about him would be homophobic. That is not how any... Donald Trump, first openly gay president in history. You fuck.
That's hilarious.
But it's true, it's just like, okay, I mean, I could literally see, they're already sitting there saying he's gay and everything else. I mean, why not own up to it and play along with the riddle and come out and sit there.
Right, because
I am gay.
Memeing everybody anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gay. I'm gay.
Because
Always
their model
been
is
gay.
not only
Sorry.
can you not say anything about anybody in the future, but anything you've ever said about them in the past, now you're on the hook for too.
Yep.
The greatest gay. Sorry. No, okay, I'm done.
I mean,
you can take that way off the rails too.
I'm getting tired. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, but like I said, I mean, this whole Epstein fiasco. I mean, like I said, the biggest thing that when I seen this video, it's just like, oh, I see it. It's great because it's one of the biggest psyops that we've seen this year. Was the fact of the matter is like, oh, now you're deflecting. And I hope people watch this and actually, I'm going to try to find as many fucking SEO or keywords as I can to get people to understand this, is because the fact of the matter is we've been lied to, brainwashed. Advertising has been brainwashing us for years, for centuries, for millennia. And the fact of the matter is, it's like when you see little things like that little video, just that little 30-second video of them talking about, you don't have to obey unlawful orders. I mean, that's a deflection. They're deflecting off of the reason, because what is dropping is that the Democrats are being implicated in the Epstein cases.
High-ranking Democrats.
Today.
Right.
And that's what's funny. I could see 10 years ago, but today, the ones that are like
not Bill
walking...
Clinton. Who gives a shit about Bill Clinton?
He's old.
Really?
He ain't going to be around.
Really?
Hey, be careful. We'll get canceled.
But actual people that could technically run for president. Hakeem Jeffries could theoretically run for president.
Yep.
He might actually be on a Democratic debate stage with Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, that's going to be scary. I mean, I don't think.
And hilarious.
I mean, I think Trump's approval rating has gone down. Yes, I mean, I know that, but I mean, it's a poll though. I mean, you only poll 4,000 people out of 3 million, then you really can't base that on reality. I mean, what is civics? Because civics is, to me, is like one of the most polling. Where'd it go? No, it's civics polling. Yeah, so according to civics, because civics has the one, because they send you, if you sign up for it, they send you emails and stuff and want you to do these these things. It says, according to the latest civics polling data from November 2025, Donald Trump's national favorability among registered voters is 42% favorable, which is contradictory to what you see on like CNN and everything else about being 38, 37, 36.
Right.
His job approval was second term president, 39%, 56% was approved, but that's because of all the social media hype. And, you know, like I said, the whole shutdown hurt him a lot, and he understands that. He literally says he knows he said that somewhere. I heard it, that he says, yes, I know this killed me in the polls, but it says support shows significant higher in variations across demographic groups and states, with a higher approval rating among Republicans at 87%. In states like Wyoming, up to 71%, and much lower among Democrats, 2%, and in states like Vermont. So the CNN polls, those polls you see on the news and on social media, don't tell you the true story. Like I said, the civics poll is probably about the closest one that's to reality, because it actually sends out mass emails to people to get you to take these surveys. You know, and so the fact of the matter that 87% among Republicans, which is 77 million people that voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I know I got a whistle on my talking.
No, my ears are getting flattened.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all. I mean, really not much I can go into that's not already been up, because, like I said, I mean, you can't really talk a lot of people into the whole Epstein thing. You can't change people's mind. I don't want to change people's mind. I want to inform and educate. I don't care if it changes your mind or not.
But the reason that you can't change their mind is because now it's gone from an idea to an ideology.
Yep.
To their identity.
Yep.
And once it has gone to their identity, you can't go back. Like now, I mean, early in my political life, I was a Democrat. Well, I was a Democrat. I was more of a liberal, right? I never voted Democrat. And then I went all the way Rush Limbaugh red. But then I went back. I went back to the middle. I am much more of a libertarian.
And see, when it comes to politics, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, and it's sad because I think from now on out until the new the younger generation gets up into the voting age, I think we're going to see a lot of identity politics, and we're going to see. I mean, there's a possibility that we might lose some seats in the House. I don't think we're going to lose the Senate, but the House we might lose. But
do you think they're trying to get rid of like core values in humans, like empathy, love, affection, those sort of core values? Like, if we had more empathy, we wouldn't have any of these issues. If we actually cared for the person that's next to us, we wouldn't have any of these issues.
It's all based on anger.
But because we have the connection of online presence, it's a fake persona.
Mm-hmm.
First off, you're fake online. Let's be honest. I'm not going to sit here and yell at somebody. But actually having empathy for other people and how they feel and how they think, that allows us three to sit here and talk, right? Like, we're empathetic. Like, I'm empathetic to what Lucky thinks. I hear and listen to what Rebel thinks. I listen. I'm young, so I'm still consuming a lot of shit, but I'd rather hear from people that have experience rather than my age group, which we all know. I would even go as far back as like a couple years before me too. Is we just don't give a fuck. Like, I hate to put it that way, but they just don't care. I mean, I've seen that's like a bunch of fights started happening. People just stopped caring about the person next to them. We just became little drones going down the hallway. Like,
and I actually have somebody that I want to invite to the podcast as a guest. I haven't even talked to him about this yet, but I think it would be perfect, right? Because he is younger than Frank, and he went to college with a political science major, and I think for the most part he's kind of centrist, but he fucking hates Trump. He fucking hates Trump.
Well, it's good because I when I ask people that, I'm not trying to be like, oh, why do you hate him? It's just like I really want to know. It's just like what in your body, in your soul, and everything else makes you hate him. I mean, because like I said, I can say why I don't like him, but mine is different than most people's. I don't hate him as a person, but
he's a very logical kid. I would say kid. He's an adult, but he's kid.
Yeah.
And
I was still a kid too, up until
you
2
are
years
too.
ago. Oh fuck!
You're barely older than my daughter, so you're still a kid. But my point is that it's not like he's some crazy feelings, blue hair, whatever. He's a logical kid. He just has a different perspective than we do. So I'll see what he thinks about it.
All right,
Yeah,
Rebel. There's some rules behind this. If we bring someone, we can't yell. We can't scream. We can't run them off.
Yeah. Oh, me? No.
We've only had one other person get ran off.
No, because he's educated. He understands. It'll be a different.
Exactly. It'll be a different conversation.
Yeah.
It'll be logical. That's the hardest thing to find.
We'll see. He might tell me to go
off.
Yeah. Go for
well,
coffee.
Just let it watch the last 2 episodes.
See what I did
they're on you for coffee. Get your for coffee. Go to forcoffee.shop and get your for coffee.
You gotta add a New York, like a Brooklyn accent.
Yeah.
Or New Jersey. Yeah, get a New Jersey.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to close out. But first, I want to go through the last segment because this is the final segments, the ending segment. Because what we're going to do, so we all know this is a psyop. We live in the psyop state. Our entire world is not what we think it is. It is a simulation. It is an illusion because we are fed the script. But the fact of the matter is, there's this. So we talked about it in the beginning. Chase Hughes created this system. He is I don't remember exactly what he is.
He was the creator of NCI.
Well, he was in the Navy. He was a chief in the Navy, and I think he was probably an intelligence specialist in the Navy, and he did a lot of studying on human intelligence gathering and things like that. So,
yeah. So yeah, he's a behavioral expert, U.S. Navy chief, behavioral science expert, claimed to be the world's #1. See, that's the whole narcissistic thing. He claims, being the world's #1 leading authority. There's a lot of people out there that probably have the same ideology and everything else. It's like when I watched some of that stuff and he was explaining this, is like, okay, that's what I've been thinking my entire life. So he's not the #1. I'm the #1. So see how that easy that is to say you're #1. But he's the #1 that has got the most views and the most recognition for it. That's how he's #1. Graduated from Missouri Military Academy, served 20 years in the U.S. Navy, wrote several books. But so he created this system, called NCI or NSI or NCI. I want to say NCIS, but because that's what every time I say it. But anyways, the NCI scoring and probability. So the NCI is a neurocognitive intelligence. Engineered reality scoring system presents a structured methodology for evaluating the likelihood that information, narratives, or events constitute psychological operations, aka psyops. coordinating with information manipulation campaigns. The assessment framework combines behavior analysis, pattern recognition, and quantifiable metrics to produce probability scoring ranging from 0 to 100 that indicates manipulation likelihood. So what I did is I used Comet. If you go to Comet and download Comet and use Underground or Nation Underground as a deal, it gives us a little bit of a kickback, and use it one time. Comet browser, it is created by Perplexity AI, which is now leading in AI when it comes to text-based AI systems. It is overpowering ChatGPT. So it is a very good system. I've been using it for 3 years now, and I love it. And it gets better every time it updates. But the fact of the matter is I plugged this into some instructions into an AI space and allowed it, and I wanted it to do was to create, anytime I typed in, like Thomas Crooks or Jeffrey Epstein and some keywords and stuff like that, what it does is it deep searches and deep dives the web, and it goes through. It's only half of what he does. It's the research half. It's not the actual talking to people that really takes a framework of this. But this is kind of an interesting concept. So I did it. I asked it to do that. So the conversations we had tonight, I came up, I put in Thomas Crook. I put in Charlie Epstein, and I also put in Charlie Kirk. So it's kind of interesting. It says, blah, blah, blah. We all know who Charlie Kirk is. It goes down and it goes through everything, like his controversial statements. I mean, it talks about everything that's out on social media, out on the newscast and everything else. So analyzing using the NCI engineered reality scoring system, applying NCI PSYOPs identification tool to the government and institutional responses, not the assassination itself, yields the following assessment. Timing. Score between a score from 1 to 5, gave it a 5. Evidence response being immediate before investigating complete. Trump blamed the left before suspects identified. Perfect timing to justify crackdown on progressive organizations. And it's biased. I mean, it's unbiased. It calls out both sides.
Sure. Good.
So the second one is emotional manipulation. Ranked 4. Martyr framing. Religious language with God as my witness. Manufactured outrage against critics. Uniform messaging, 5 out of 5. Trump administration, Miller, Vance, Trump, deployed coordinated language, left-wing extremism, terrorist networks, vast terror movement, media outlets amplified without verification. So that means they took what he said and they just ran with it and created the narrative. Missing information. FBI Director Patel stated no evidence of left-wing funding organization, but this received minimal coverage in the conservative media. Alternative explanations. Robinson's personal motivations, Discord community influences underreported, which it was. You only said it a few times about the text messages and boom, it was gone. Actually, I haven't heard shit about anything. I know he went to an arraignment or something months ago, but you haven't heard anything about it since.
Yeah, true. Actually,
simplistic narratives, 5 out of 5. Framed as left versus right, ignored Robinson's complex psychology, video game culture influences, and genuine policy disagreements. Tribal division, 5 out of 5. Vance explicitly stated the big difference between conservatives and liberals. No one has tried to kill Harris. Created us versus them framework demanding conformity to the narrative. Authority overload, 4 out of 5. Trump, Vance, Miller, Bondi, and FCC Chair Carl all amplified unsubstantiated claims. Law enforcement contradicted them quietly, which we knew that was a whole big thing for like a whole 3 days. Call for urgent action, 5 out of 5. Dismantle, destroy, identify networks immediately without due process. Threatened media license within hours. Demanded firing of federal employees. Overuse of novelty, 3 out of 5. Framed as unprecedented, but political violence is reoccurring. Emphasis on newness created urgency. Financial political gain, 5 out of 5. Vance called for targeting employers of critics, consolidating control, firing of the people that were giving negative stuff on Twitter, and all these people that were getting fired for posting negative stuff. Trump leveraged moments to threaten media license, purge dissenting voices, and rally bases. Clear political gain from crackdown. Suppression of dissent, 5 out of 5. Documented mass firings campaign, 145 plus employees terminated for social media comments. FCC chair threatened broadcaster's license for Jimmy Kimmel and the other dude, late night, Colbert. Attorney General promises to target and shut down hate speech. Secret Service investigates critical employees, or investigated critical employee. False dilemma, 4 out of 5. Either support government investigation of left-wing purposes or you're complicit in violence. The bandwagon effect, 5 out of 5. Companies fired employees preeminently to avoid political backlash. ABC suspended Kimmel hours after FCC threat. Employers implemented draconian social media policies. Number 14, emotional repetition, 4 out of 5. Celebrated assassination, hatred, terrorism, language repeated relentlessly across government and allied medias. Cherry-picked data. Highlighted Robertson's left views, suppressed facts that his family is conservative and he acted alone. Logic and facade. This is just going with what's information is on right out there. It's not, like I said, this is like the left half of the entire deal assessment. Number 16, logical fallacies, 5 out of 5. Left caused violence, therefore dismantled left-wing organization. No causal link proven. Manufactured outrage, 5 out of 5. Weaponized Kirk's death within hours to demand punishment of unrelated critics and commentators. Framing techniques, 5 out of 5. Kirk reframed as a martyr, critics as celebrants of murder, despite most offering conditional remarks or criticism of historical or of his rhetoric separately from violence. Rapid behavior shifts, 5 out of 5. Coordinated mass firing across industries, employers suddenly enforcing new standards, media outlets preempted shows immediately. Historical parallels.
How many?
5.
How many of these?
This is the last one. 5 out of 5. Nixon administration threatened broadcasting license. McCarthy era targeted investigation of political enemies. Reichstag fire dynamics of using singular events to consolidate power. So the total, like I said, the investigation part of it, the NCI total score 79 out of 100. Overwhelming, it says interpretation, overwhelming signs of a psyop. Strong likelihood to coordinate psychological operations and institute manipulation. So, I mean, that was that. I'm not going to go through all of them for their own, but I'll give you the Thomas Crooks one. Thomas Crooks got a 46 out of 100 because there's not a lot of
there's not a whole lot of data to pull from, right?
So, and that's what it says. It says information control confirmed, full psych not substantiated. But so I thought that was kind of interesting, even though like with some of the things that were coming. But I'll go ahead and run that again maybe next week when more stuff comes out and see what it comes up with.
And I think I'm pretty confident that most things that we think are psyops are going to score pretty high.
Yeah,
and it's because we're not. They're flying it in our face.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like just like Obama said, put it right out there in public view.
Yeah, flood the marketplace with enough raw sewage.
So here's the Epstein thing. So this is some of the polling data revealed.
Roads.
Poll dating reveals extraordinary public skepticism about official narrative. The 75% of Americans want all Epstein files released. 70% believe Trump is not handling the case well. 63% believe that Trump administration is hiding critical information. 70% believe a client list does exist. 59% believe Trump and Epstein were once good friends. 96% of Americans have encountered information about Jeffrey indicating a near universal awareness. So that it's kind of funny that 59% only believe that Trump and Epstein were friends. So the overall score for this one gave me back a shit ton of information. So this one here, it says total NCI score 75 out of 100. Manipulation and PSYOP indicator, probably a coordinator, psychological operation, 60 to 70%. Says Epstein obsession exhibits hybrid structure combining genuine criminal activity, 30 to 44%. Organic public response, 20 to 30. Coordinated narrative amplification, 60 to 7. So yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna tweak that with some of the information that I got later. That way, it does a more deeper dive into things. Like I said, this is just something that's on the what's out there in the world. It's not. It doesn't have the human effect, I guess I could say. So you need the human effect to make it. You need to actually sit down with the person that you're assessing and find out through, whims and tells and emotions and stuff like that. But this is just news base. So I guess this would be the news base. What people think, and from what we know and online, because everybody's online, everybody's social. So, but yeah. Well, I thought that was pretty interesting. Like I said, I know it's not 100%, but it gives you a good idea just about how much we're being psyoped. I mean,
Yep.
And if you go back,
you know what I'm thinking, Rebel? I think we need the narrative T-shirts and hats.
Yeah, I'm trying. I've got a fourth wall set up. I just need to start designing. But
it's not like you don't have enough to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got. if I could get my fucking, I've been so hyper focused on trying to redo this website to get some cool shit in there, and I got so frustrated the other night. So it's like, fuck it. So the website's kind of like wanky right now. So, but this is going to be a part of the website. We're gonna put a special section on the website. That's gonna, as soon as I get this tweaked a little bit better and everything else, and I'm gonna be writing some AI articles and stuff like that, and or these not articles. I'm gonna be putting assessments on things that are out there in the world, and you guys can go look at it and come up with your own thoughts and processes if they're being psyoped or.
We should do like a voting thing.
Yeah, I can put that on there too. You can do a lot of cool things.
I just like to give them as much work as possible.
Yeah. Right.
But
it would be cool. Like you go on the website and it's like a little game each day. It's like, do you think it's a psyop or not? And then anyway, I'm definitely tired.
But if you guys like what you've seen, want to know more, make sure you join us. We're here every Wednesday night, and we start growing in viewership. I might even maybe be able to convince somebody doing one extra night a week. So, right now I think we're good at doing 3 hours because I'm still trying to pull clips from the last one. So this one here's got some good clips in it too. So, but I think I'm out. I'm Rebel. It's Frank, and that's Mr. Lucky. And we'll see you guys back next week. Like I said, don't believe everything you see. Take everything as a grain of salt, and do your fucking research.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple. Do your fucking research.
Because it's probably a psyop.
Yeah.
Doubt is the product.
Exactly. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Actually, join us on. We've got to do the plug for Friday night. Ladies and gentlemen, come and join us for the Triple B podcast Friday night, where we get a little bit less political and a little bit more crazier. And we'll be on the Triple B network, Triple B on Twitter, Triple B on YouTube, and Triple B on Rumble. And Kick, or not Kick, and Kick isn't. I've got some shit. We're going to be talking about Kick and all the streamer drama Friday night on my part of it. But we'll see you guys next week. Or on Friday.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Want you blind. They don't just want you silent, they want you blind. They want the truth locked in a vault. They want headlines, not answers. But you found the back door, and now the nation underground is wide awake. Welcome to tonight's rebellion. Let's rip the blindfolds off together.